in the courthouse where time stood still. Generations pass on the hill, prosecutors come and go, defense attorneys putting on a show. Old district attorney thought she was tight, came in to visit her at night. They said justice was blinded by her sins. As the trial spun, no one wins. Endless trial like a river flows. Truth and lies, nobody knows. Corruption's big tide as it bites. In this endless trial, we pay the price.
Hey, old folks. I know, this started a bit later than anticipated. Yeah. This should have started at 5:30 p.m. It is now 8 p.m. I overslept. My apologies. Oh, wow. Okay, so it seems like afternoon session became quite interesting. And yeah, where's Mr. Williams' gold? Miss Willis? You already sold it? Did you melt it down? Is it in your mattress? How'd you pay Mr. Wade 700,000? Where's the money? District Attorney Fanny Willis. Where's the gold? All right, and with that slight, yeah. I woke up just under an hour ago, so apologies. Yeah. My normal schedule is I go home from work, do some work, have some rest, do the recap, move on. Today I woke up at 4:30 a.m., went to worked, and then directly into stream live from the trial, just in case something really, really interesting happened, like, I don't know, a mistrial or something. And this morning started with, within 16 minutes, the prosecution forked up. Again, trying to get into testimony evidence that they should have gone through months ago. And judge wasn't having it, but said, well, let's find out from the transcript what was said in the bench, at the bench. And this will be revealed during this afternoon recap. Laurie Palumbo, I wonder what else is missing. Oh, evidence of actual crimes. I would say that at least that links the two remaining defendants to whatever went on today. That is what's missing. So gold and evidence. That's what's missing. All right. While I search for stuff, let's just go right into, oh, they haven't. That's so sad. Sadly, no closed caption on this stream. I don't know if you can have closed caption on my show. I don't think you can. I'm not big enough channel yet, so I can have that on. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Until my channel gets big enough, that's just the way it is, sadly. All right. That's my pop-out chat. Hello, folks, by the way. Hello. Wendell Taylor, Laurie Palumbo, Tracy Fagan, Tat Flocker, GD, my first and best moderator, Alexis Lee, Gwendolyn, Krista Vasquez, Kate Allen, Shankisa Bell, Keys versus Keys, Dream, the Nutty Brunette, and all of you. All right, this is the afternoon session recap of day 155. We start out with sidebar counter 326, and let's just move on with it.
Will be.
Let me know if sound
Could you
is okay.
call somebody out of order if we haven't heard yet?
I think so.
Okay. And is she with us right now? Is she ready to go?
Yes.
Okay. Are we ready for the jury?
The first witness is something I covered in my Dober hearing stream way back when. And while I understand her testimony was very coherent and everything, during the Dober hearing, it was revealed that this is an elected person. For I don't know why this witness is not hired due to competence, but is elected. It might be that she is extremely competent, but that's the thing. Why do you want to have a chief medical examiner elected? One of these things I simply can't grasp with the United States. Yeah, I understand if you elect somebody, you can hold them accountable in the next election. Yeah, but an incompetent person elected in due to random popularity can do a lot of damage in 4 years. All right, let's see here. Day 155 afternoon session recap. I don't remember her name, this chief medical examiner, but it will be revealed.
Adam, do you want that?
Yeah.
Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's get the jury in, and if you want to go ahead and be calling her. He's been messing with. Nothing because she's missing my mind.
See. How we need to do.
There she is.
I wanted to be the
Might be that she is highly competent. But one of these things that she does not do as her work via standard operational procedure. That was revealed during the Dober hearing. No standard operational procedure whatsoever. The reason was, well, every autopsy is different. And I do get that, but some things are standardized to get best practice. Most of the Western world, when it comes to autopsies, are performed up to a certain standard. And how you know that is you follow standard operational procedure. She does not. She does not believe in that, apparently. Starfish and coffee. Did anyone think the state's case would improve? Nope. But today is more resembling of an actual trial than most other days have. So
No, Your Honor.
as soon as Miss Love isn't near, things improve. Going towards the absolute incompetence of Miss Love. And by that, I don't mean the rest of them are especially competent, but they are less morons than Miss Love. Yeah. She has testified in another case about a toddler's homicide. Okay. Yeah, that's really sad. I hope that baby gets justice it deserves. Which is hard in Fulton County. Yeah, and as Jim says, there are most definitely standards in handling of the body, documentation, etc. Yeah.
Thank you. And can, all right.
All right, raise your hand. You swear firm testimony you give the truth, whole truth, nothing but truth.
I do.
That's it.
Yeah. There will be autopsy photos here. I will not show it. That's my standard on my channel. I do not see the reason why autopsy photos should be shown to anybody but the jury. It's shock value. That's it. You can get the exact same testimony out via sketches and diagrams. It's pure shock value, and I don't approve of it. I simply don't. One of the reasons is you get immune after a while, and for you who don't know, I've been doing labor law for over 30 years. I have in my career seen torn off limbs, scalps ripped off, what quicklime does to a person, and I do not wish that on anyone, to have those images that I have in my head. I don't wish that on anyone, and that is why I, as much as I can do, will not show those things on my channel.
State spell the first last name for the court. Now to the mic, please.
Karen Sullivan, Karensullivan.
Say good afternoon, Dr. Sullivan.
Good afternoon.
Could you tell the jurors how you are currently employed?
I'm the Chief Medical Examiner for the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office here in Atlanta.
And can you tell the jurors how long have you worked within the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office?
Part-time beginning in July of 2003 till October 2007, and then full-time since October 2007.
And you said you are the Chief Medical Examiner. Can you explain to the jurors how long you've been the Chief?
Since spring of 2021.
And can you tell the jurors a little bit about what the Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office does?
Yeah, we don't need the CV.
29 and a fair and accurate copy of the report that you authored.
Okay, let me just pre-screen these so I don't. Okay, it seems like a while before the real nasty stuff is shown. Okay, just checking.
In relation to the autopsy performed on Mr. Holmes back on February 24th of 2019.
It is.
Your Honor, at this time, the state would tender what's been marked as State's Exhibits 25 NN through 29 NN.
Those are admitted.
Now, Dr. Sullivan, you just mentioned a unique case number, or a case number that was associated with this case in relation to the death of 15-year-old Mr. Holmes. Can you tell the jurors how that case number is specifically assigned not only to this case, but all the cases that you perform autopsies on?
Well, in our office, we have a number of medical legal death investigators who take death calls either from hospitals where someone has died or from police officers at a scene of death. And when the investigator takes the case, then they assign sequentially a case number to it. For example, the first case of this year, 2024, would have been 2024-0001. Then the next case that was reported was 2. Then the next case would have been 3. So Mr. Holmes's case number was 2019-0370. So his death was number 370 reported in the year 2019.
Now, in relation to the work you do when performing an autopsy, can you tell the jurors what soot is and how it is important or related to your performing an autopsy and the conclusions that you make?
Well, when a gun is fired, the gunpowder burns, and the gas that's produced is what propels the bullet down the muzzle of the gun and out of the barrel. The burnt gunpowder can produce a fine ash like you see in a fireplace after you burn wood in the wintertime. That ash can deposit on the skin. That ash will be called soot. You can see soot on a person's body, assuming there's nothing between the muzzle of the gun and the person who is being shot, up to about 12 inches. After about 12 inches, then that soot doesn't have enough energy to reach the person's body and deposit on it. Also exiting.
First of all, this is a reasonable explanation, very condensed. She's done it before. And yeah, what some medical examiners takes 15-20 minutes to explain, she does in less than 30 seconds. Now, with that said, after 12 inches, the stippling, the soot, the gun residue does not have enough energy. Depends on the gun. Depends on the gun. There's lots of examples of stipplings and everything being shown with a gun that is fired from a further distance than 12 inches or a foot. Depends on the gun.
The muzzle of the gun are burning and unburnt gunpowder particles that can strike the skin and make small scrapes in the skin called stippling. Stippling is seen on the body from a distance of a few inches to up to about 3 feet for most handguns, after which those gunpowder particles don't have enough energy to reach the person's body and they fall away. So after about 3 feet distance from the muzzle of the gun to the person who is shot, you'll see neither soot nor stippling on a person's body, assuming there's no intervening object between the muzzle of the gun and the person who is shot.
And on the screen before you, it states Exhibit 25. And can you tell the jurors, I guess, the purpose of this photo that you take at the initial outset of an autopsy?
This is one of the standard sets of photos. It's called a facial identification photograph that simply shows the decedent's face.
Okay, and can you tell the jurors kind of what are the first steps that you take in performing an autopsy here on Mr. Holmes, but in general when doing an autopsy and the procedures that go along with it?
Well, after the decedent's body bag is open, then the doctor is looking at the person for any evidence of natural disease processes and any injuries and documenting that. At the same time, the forensic technician is writing down any clothing and personal effects that were received with the person, and the photographer is taking photographs of the person as they are received with clothing or medical intervention and then without, and then also any external evidence of natural disease processes and injuries. And after the photographs are obtained, then at the direction of the doctor, the internal examination occurs where the forensic technician eviscerates the body, meaning the internal organs are removed, and the doctor's examining them both, again, for natural disease processes and injuries.
Now, can you tell the jurors in doing the initial steps that you just described as it relates to the autopsy of Damari Holmes, can you tell the jurors that what we're looking at in State Exhibit 6 and in to the initial injuries that you observed to Mr. Holmes?
And so this is the back of Mr. Holmes's head. His head is lying on a head block.
Sorry, folks,
His
that one.
face would be towards the top of the picture, the back of his head towards the bottom of the picture where the small ruler is. And there's a gunshot wound of the head that's partially seen in this photograph.
And if we move to State Exhibit 27, and can you tell the jurors, is this the same gunshot wound that you just described, but with the hair shaped around it?
It is.
Okay. And can you tell the jurors, as you were doing your autopsy, were you able to, I guess, determine the trajectory or the pathway of travel as it relates to the projectile that entered Mr. Holmes's back of his head?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors how you're able to do that, and what, I guess, the trajectory of the path of travel showed in this case?
Well, in this case, the path of the projectile was back to front with minimal deviation or variance in other directions. And I used, by looking at the entrance wounds tend to have an abrasion or scrape of the skin because the bullet is scraping the skin as it enters the body, and that allows you to tell that it's an entrance wound. In this case, you're looking at Mr. Holmes's head from the side. It's as though he's laying on his left-hand side with his right ear up. So the tag is actually the back of his head. And just above that, that scraped area is the abrasion. And so the bullet is traveling from the tag area, which is the back of the head, towards the left-hand side of the photo, which is the top of the head.
Okay. And you kind of discussed earlier what soot and stippling is. Can you tell the jurors, did you see either soot or stippling as it relates to the gunshot wound in the back of the head of Jamari Holmes?
No, neither soot nor stippling was on the skin.
And based on your training and experience and what you described here today, can you tell the jurors what that, I guess, means, or how that impacts your findings and conclusions as it relates to how close the barrel of a gun was to the back of Mr. Holmes' head?
Well, assuming that there's no intervening object between the muzzle of the gun and Mr. Holmes' head, the muzzle of the gun was at least 3 feet away from Mr. Holmes' head.
Now, I guess, can you describe to the jurors, based on, I guess, the autopsy, both the external and internal examination that you just...
Yeah, here comes drama. Says they had 150 plus days to bring in this medical examiner, and they wait until after Little Rod pleads. Yeah, this is what Little Rod is serving life for. Now he is appealing that conviction, and he has decent standard. The girl who testified earlier. Not earlier today, but a couple of weeks ago, on the stand, in my opinion, it was apparent that she was lying and that she was somewhat coerced by law enforcement to give up names of people who may not even have been there. One of these names was Lil Rod. So... yeah, but there are still, because this is the part of the trial where that brings up that specific crime, and it is due to RICO. Other people in a criminal enterprise is supposedly responsible of others if the prosecution can prove that it is in furtherance of the criminal enterprise.
Right. What areas of the brain were injured and, I guess, hit by the bullet or the projectiles that traveled through Mr. Holmes' brain?
Well, there were injuries to the left side of the skull and the left cerebral hemisphere, which is the larger part of the brain on the left-hand side.
And can you tell the jurors the left cerebral hemisphere, I guess, what motor functions or what functions does that area of the brain control in the human body?
Well, it has partial control over the right side of the body. But in addition to the structures that are directly impacted by the bullet going through Mr. Holmes's head, the concussive force of the gunshot wound damages areas of the brain even away from the direct wound path. So the parts of the brain, for example, in the brainstem that control cardiac and respiratory functions, those are also be affected.
And we've talked about an entry wound here and how you're able to determine the difference between an entry and exit wound. Can you tell the jurors in your examination, were you able to find or locate an exit wound?
No.
Okay, and based upon that, you just
I have to address Law Malcolm. Stop getting your blood pressure up over this street gang. If I don't get worked up over government incompetence, government corruption, police corruption, prosecutors overshooting in crimes that involve what you may or may not deem as bad people, then what right do I have to be worked up over cases involving people that seem to be innocent? I mean, I got worked up when the severely worked up over the incompetence in the what was that trial? Let's see here. The Marisela Botello murder, or Wade Wilson. No, I wasn't worked up over Wade Wilson. Here's a good example. Iowa versus Henry Dinkins. It was an absolute clustercluck of a trial. The prosecution, the cops, completely incompetent. Completely. There was evidence to his guilt. So much evidence to Mr. Dinkins' guilt. And in my opinion, the prosecution almost, due to incompetence, almost had him declared not guilty, in my opinion, because they were so bad at presenting evidence in that trial. So yeah, I get worked up due to not maybe so much over the defendants involved, but I get worked up when I see government incompetence, especially in trials where people are presumed innocent.
describe to the jurors that there's an internal examination where
Slow down, Law
organs,
Malcolm.
are removed
Slow
from here Mr. Holmes's body, correct?
Correct.
And in this instance was Mr. Holmes's physical brain removed from his head.
It was.
And is an examination done, I guess, in regards to looking for any projectiles that remain within Mr. Holmes's brain?
Yes.
And can you tell the jurors, were you able to locate any projectiles in Mr. Holmes's brain, and where about within his head did you find?
Well, there was a fragmented projectile. There were at least two large pieces of the bullet that were recovered, and that's seen in this picture, and they were recovered from the wound track.
Okay, and you said they were recovered from the wound track. What?
Yeah, this is standard from now on. This is standard medical examiner testimony. Yeah, we know he got shot. He got shot in the back of the head. I don't mean to be dismissive of it, but regarding the two remaining defendants, they had nothing to do with it, in my opinion. Absolutely nothing. So let's skip ahead to if there is a cross-examination. I don't think it is.
You recovered office does with here this projectile removed from Mr. Holmes's brain.
My office.
Holmes based on New Jersey.
Good afternoon.
What?
Cross-examination.
Briefing, Your Honor. Doctor, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
What
Day did you perform this autopsy?
On Sunday, February 24th, 2019.
And you have testified at hearings regarding this case previously, correct?
Yeah, she did. In the actual murder trial.
I believe so.
Okay, and the defendants in this case that you're in the death of Jamari Holmes were Rodelius Ryan and Damone Blaylock, correct?
I do not know.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
No questions, John.
Any redirect?
No.
All right. Thanks for your time. Call your next.
Yeah, that was all that is needed from cross-examination. The people involved in that prior proceeding, they are not here, right? And she doesn't know. And that, in my opinion, shows professionalism. She doesn't seem to care who the defendants are. She's just there to provide testimony about her autopsy. That speaks to her professionalism, considering most of every other state's witness who try to inject their personal feelings in this. She does not.
This witness? No, we discussed that.
Your Honor, the state's calling it Detective Storno, and this is one of the witnesses we had discussed.
Not be shown.
Correct, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Okay, next witness not to be shown. Skipping ahead.
Yes. Raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony you give the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
Yes.
MC. State spell the first and last name for the court. Stop and do it, man, please.
My name is Detective Joseph Storno. It's Storno.
Good afternoon, Detective Storno. How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Can you tell the jury where you employed
I'm currently employed by the Atlanta Police Department.
and what unit are you with APD?
I'm currently assigned to the Gangs and Special Investigations Unit
How long have you worked in APD's gang unit?
since January of 2020.
And when did you first come on with APD?
I was hired in August of 2006.
And what was did you start out on patrol?
After graduating the police academy, yes.
What zone of the city were you a patrol officer in?
I was assigned to Zone 3.
And did you ever cover different beats within Zone 3?
Yes.
Did you ever cover the Cleveland Avenue beat of Zone 3?
Yes.
And while in Zone 3, what different positions did you hold within APD?
Initially I was on Zone 3 patrol, where I was answering 911 calls. And then a short time later, I was transferred to the Zone 3 crime suppression unit.
And after the crime suppression unit, were you ever a detective in that zone?
Yes, I was promoted to detective in 2000, I believe it was 2012, and I was assigned to Zone 3 CID.
Did you ever work any specialized units as a detective before gangs?
Before, yes, I was after being in Zone 3 CID, I was transferred to the Special Victims Child Exploitation Unit.
And how many years were you a detective in that unit?
I was in child exploitation for approximately 7 to 8 years.
Now, in your current capacity, what in general do you do?
So I'm currently tasked with investigating gangs and gang members, investigating crimes of which they commit. I'm also tasked with identifying new gangs and new gang members, as well as staying up to date on rivalries and tasks like that.
Now, have you been with APD for 18 years?
Yes,
Are you currently post-certified?
I am.
And have you been post-certified throughout your career with APD?
Yes.
Now, I want to turn your attention to May 9th of 2022. Were you in the gang unit as a detective at that date?
I was.
Okay, May 9th of 2022. Now they are going into the search warrant and raid of Mr. Williams' property, which subsequently led to 28 people getting arrested. So now we are apparently going into that. That's interesting. I didn't think of that because if they are going somewhat chronological, then are the state winding up their case in chief? I don't know. That would be interesting. That would put this in a completely different timeline than expected. Here comes drama. Why do they hide the identity of this person when we can look on the PD website or Uncle Google and find them? I don't know. I've seen so many trials where nobody seemed to, well, not that people don't care, but cops in general. This is the first time when I have encountered unless they are actively doing undercover work, there's no reason for them to not to be shown. But this might be a local rule for Atlanta, Georgia. Most cops
Now-
I've seen want to show their face as not scared
On
of
May
these
9th,
drugs.
2022, can you
or
tell the
whatever.
jury what happened that day while you were on shift?
Well, on that day, a Fulton County indictment, a 56-count indictment came out against 27 co-conspirators in violation of the Georgia RICO Act.
Was there a search warrant that was also executed that day?
Yes.
Now, who drafted that search warrant?
The initial search warrant was drafted by investigator Viv Rito, who at the time was employed by the Fulton County District Attorney's Office.
Now, can you describe for the jury, how did you get involved? Or let me ask you this. Did you
That Vivorito is the person who's training the gang unit. And I've been through this before with you guys, but for those of you who are here for the first time or missed that, the DA's office, a DA's office employee, former cop, turned investigator, blah, 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 is the one training the gang unit, telling me that the training is not as much as let's identify gangs. It is, here is how you do it so it is easier for us to convict people. That's not how this is supposed to be.
participate in that search warrant?
Yes, I did.
Can you tell the jury how you got involved with that search warrant? How did that day start?
The gang unit, as well as additional units of the Atlanta Police Department, including the SWAT unit, the air unit, and at the time it was called the Titan unit, assisted the Fulton County District Attorney's Office in executing the search warrant at 355 Allison Drive.
Now, who is this Titans unit that you mentioned?
So the Titans unit, which is now called the Apex unit, Atlanta Proactive Enforcement and Extradition unit, is a specialized unit that assists in high-risk search warrants. They often assist a SWAT.
At this point, I'm going to object to relevance, how he got involved.
Sustained.
Detective Storno, did you specifically participate in this search warrant?
I did.
Now, on this day, who had the residence at 355 Allison Drive?
That was the primary residence of Mr. Jeffrey Williams.
And is that in Atlanta, Georgia?
It is.
Is that in Fulton County?
Yes.
So what time did you get to 355 Allison Drive, roughly?
Roughly around 6 p.m.
Now, when you got there, were these other units already there, or were you the first to arrive?
We staged nearby, and then my unit, the members of the gang unit, we were on the outskirts waiting for the search warrant to be executed by SWAT and the Titan unit.
Now, from when the SWAT or Titan unit began executing that search warrant to when you entered the residence, roughly how long amount of time was that?
Approximately 30 to 40 minutes.
And after they, those units did their job, did you ever go and search that location?
Yes.
Now, when you walked in, have you had time that this stack of photographs that you dropped off, were you able to review these before testifying here today?
Yes, I was.
Your Honor, at this time, the state's going to approach with what's been marked as 1 through 65 X-ray. And Your Honor, I have a defense counsel has this, but I want to give Madam Court Reporter and the court a copy.
Thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. Now, Detective Storno, with 1 through 65, what are those items?
These are photographs that were taken by our unit during the execution of the search warrant, photographs of evidence that was located and seized.
And are they a fair and accurate depiction of the crime scene of that search warrant that you executed on May 9th, 2022?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to tender into evidence 1 through 65 X-ray.
No objection from Mr. Kendrick.
All right, those are admitted without objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, I'm going to publish what's been marked as 1 X-ray. can you orient the jury? You'd referenced y'all were at a staging area before executing the search warrant. Behind, if I was the cameraman and I was going to turn around, what's behind me?
The residence.
And if you were to turn around and walk down that driveway, how long does it take you to get to the street?
It's a good ways off the street, maybe 30 yards from the
And
street.
About 30 yards?
Yes.
Before you and other members of the APD gang unit assist in this search?
Yes.
Before you all assisted in this search, was anyone initially detained on site?
Yes.
Who was?
So Mr. Jeffrey Williams was detained. Mr. Martinez Arnold was detained. Mr. DeMonte Kendrick was detained. And then there were other individuals inside as well, including a cleaning crew, and Mr. Williams' 15-year-old son was present.
So were they all, so when you entered the residence, was anyone other than law enforcement inside?
When I entered the residence, no, it was just law enforcement.
And I'm going to publish one two X-ray. Is this the front of the residence?
That is the front of the residence.
And when you entered that location, did you go in through the front door?
I did.
And is that the front stairs depicted on this photograph?
Yes, those are the front stairs leading up to the front door of the residence.
I'm going to publish 3 X-ray. And if I were to walk up those stairs, is this the view that you would see?
Yes.
Now, I'm going to publish State's Exhibit 4 X-ray. Can you describe for the jury what this area of the home is?
So this is the main level after you walk in with the living room and then a open kitchen to the left.
Now, do you see that white island in the middle to the left near the kitchen?
Yes.
And do you see that kind of half wall to the left of that painting?
Yes.
What is on the other side of that wall?
There's a coat closet.
And actually, I'm going to ask you, I got an old school wooden pointer, Detective Storno. You could help orient the jury. Please, sir. Where's that storage closet you were just discussing?
So it's behind this wall. There's a door opening into a closet.
And would the front door be to our left, looking at this photograph?
Yeah, the front door to the entrance to the residence would be back over here.
And is there any type of doors or windows to the right on the other side of this couch?
Yes, so to the right, there's a door, like a screen door that leads to the backyard of the residence.
I'm going to publish 5 X-ray. Now, Detective Storno, did you see that blue door on the right side of this exhibit?
Yes, right here is the door to the closet.
And do you see that box seated on the middle of that island?
Yes.
Can you orient for the jury where that is?
This box right here that says cat.
And I'm going to publish State's Exhibit 6 X-ray now. Is that the box you were just discussing?
That is the same box, yes.
I'm going to publish State's Exhibit 7 X-ray. Is that a piece of clothing that was found in the house?
Yes, that was a hoodie that was located on the counter as well.
Now, I am going to republish 5 X-ray. And I want to ask you a question, Detective Storno. With the search warrant, the initial search warrant, what was the items you all were trying to search?
So the initial search warrant drafted by Investigator Vivarito was, the scope of the search warrant was for gang paraphernalia and cellular devices.
And did you ever work on getting any additional search warrants that day?
Yes, once numerous firearms were located in the residence along with illegal narcotics, I was tasked with applying for an additional search warrant for 355 Allison with the scope of the search warrant to include firearms, narcotics, currency, ammunition, and I believe that was the scope of my search warrant.
Now, Detective Storno, looking back at this photograph, was there any money counter on that island?
Yes, there was a gold money counter that was located on the counter in front of the sink.
I'm going to publish 7 X-ray and 8 X-ray. My apologies. Is that the money counter you were just discussing?
Yes, that is the money counter that we located.
Now, I'm going to publish 9. What is depicted in this photograph?
That's a container of a substance we believe to be marijuana.
And is that the same kitchen aisle we were just discussing?
Yes, that was also located on the counter.
Now, I'm going to publish 10 X-ray X-ray. What is this item?
It's a satchel.
Did you all look in that satchel?
Yes.
I'm going to publish 11 X-ray X-ray. What all was inside of it?
Inside with a Ziploc baggie containing suspected marijuana, as well as a wad of U.S. currency, some keys, cell phone, and a cardiac glasses case.
I'm going to publish 12 X-ray X-ray. Where is this?
Before we go into, because this is what happens during this, and other people's testimony regarding this is really interesting and goes to the thumbnail of this stream. Thank you to Here Comes Drama for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much. That is so nice of you. You who are gifted, say thank you to Here Comes Drama. And you now have access to all my members only perks. Your own emojis here on YouTube, and access to my Discord. And members only content. I have hundreds of hours of members only content. So congratulations and thank you so much. That brings us to 5 new members during this stream. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you.
This in relation to the kitchen area we were just discussing.
This was located in a cabinet below the counter.
And
Next to the sink.
what are those bottles to the left?
Those were open bottles of promethazine, codeine, cough syrup.
I'm going to publish States Exhibit 13, X-ray X-ray. What is that on the counter right there to the far left?
That was a firearm that was located on the counter.
Now, I'm going to republish 5 X-ray X-ray. And is this the far end, if you're the cameraman, of this kitchen aisle?
Yeah, it's down here in the corner.
I'm going to go back and publish 14 X-ray X-ray. Is this the firearm we were just discussing?
Yes.
What type of firearm was this?
That was an FN-57 firearm.
And did it have any magazine or ammunition?
Now all of this is dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. Guns, guns. It will be revealed something interesting during cross-examination. I don't remember if it's this witness or the next witness, but something really interesting is revealed.
With this firearm?
Yes, it was loaded with a magazine containing ammunition.
I'm going to publish States Exhibit 15, X-ray X-ray. What was the serial number on this firearm?
Serial number was 386-380-329.
Now, Detective Storno, I'm going to approach you with what you mark as 15 X-ray X-ray alpha. Excuse me, it's 14 X-ray X-ray alpha. Now, Detective Storno, can you please and Detective Storno, keeping that item in the box, is there a serial number on that item?
There is.
I'm going to give you some gloves if you want to use them. What is the serial number on that item?
The serial number is 386-380-329.
Is that the same serial number of the firearm we were just discussing found on the kitchen counter?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to tender into evidence 14 X-ray X-ray alpha.
All right, that's admitted.
Now, I'm going to publish State's Exhibit 16 X-ray X-ray. You know where we were just discussing this firearm?
Yes.
If you were to do a complete 180, where would this cabinet be in relation to the firearm we were just discussing?
Directly behind it, on top of the refrigerator in a cabinet.
I'm going to publish 17 X-ray X-ray. What do we have here?
In this photo is a large bag containing suspected marijuana, as well as 2 firearms that were located next to the bag of marijuana.
I'm going to publish 18 X-ray X-ray. Is this a closer photograph of the suspected marijuana?
It is.
Now, as we go through these, ultimately with these items we discussed, did APD gang detective members or other law enforcement personnel, collect these items that were found at the home?
Yes, the APD gang unit, as well as members of the Fulton County District Attorney's Office, collected the items.
Now, I'm approaching you, Detective Storno, with what's been marked as 18 X-ray alpha. And let me ask you, when APD collects evidence, is it associated with a case number?
Yes.
And for this case, what is the APD case number associated with this case?
The APD case number associated with this incident is 221291090.
And do you see that APD case number on that item of evidence before you?
Yes, it's on the property sticker that was created for this item.
And I'm going to ask you, Detective Storno, if you can, or using that, can you open up and look in that bag?
Sure.
And I have some item that will help you.
Yeah, you want me to give you a knife or something?
Sorry.
Scissors will help.
Yep, I got some scissors. Should make it a little easier. Okay. And with the APD case, does that appear to be the bag of marijuana?
Yes, it contains.
Don't take it out until it's edited.
It contains, yes, the suspected marijuana we recovered from the residence.
And with the items collected after they were collected from the home, the law enforcement personnel ultimately transport them back to APD?
Yes, we did.
And when all the items were collected and gathered, did you generate a report for the items recovered at the home?
Yes.
And were those items ultimately from a member of the team transported to any other law enforcement agencies?
They were eventually transported from APD property to the GBI.
Does the labeling associated with that bag and having examined it appear to be a fair and accurate depiction of the suspected marijuana collected on this residence on May 9, 2022?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to tender into evidence 18 X-ray alpha.
All right, submitted.
Thank you, Detective Storno. For now, I'll make a little space for you. Thank you, ma'am. Now, I'm going to publish State's Exhibit 19 X-ray. And is this the firearm we had just discussed in the kitchen cabinet?
Yes, this was.
Folks, our supreme leader has arrived. Mr. Jingles, the leader of our Mr. Jingles Viking Thug Gang, is here. Hello, Mr. Jingles. Hello. Yes, we are all a part of Mr. Jingles Viking Thugs. We are not a criminal enterprise. We are a group of people with a common goal to educate ourselves about government corruption and how to not conduct a trial and stuff like that. And we do not take responsibilities for each other's actions or words. We are not an unindicted co-conspirators, and in my case, I went to Atlanta and love didn't catch me. Hello, Mr. Jingles.
The firearm, one of the two firearms that was located next to that large bag of marijuana.
What kind of firearm is this?
This is a Glock firearm.
And did it have a magazine or any ammunition?
Yes, it was loaded with a magazine containing ammunition.
Is that the magazine with the ammo sticking out at the top?
It is.
I am going to approach you with, or I'm going to publish 20 X-ray first. What's the serial number on this firearm?
The serial number is BTDY617.
I'm approaching the witness with what's been marked as 19 X-ray alpha. Detective Storno, without taking that item out of the box, can you look and see if you see a serial number on it?
Yes, I do.
What is the serial number on that item in the box?
The serial number is BTDY617.
Does that appear to be the firearm we were just discussing collected from the home on May 9, 2022?
Yes, this is the firearm that we located.
Your Honor, the state moves to tender into evidence 19 X-ray alpha.
Submitted.
Publishing 21.
And yeah, all of this, oh, looks bad, looks dangerous. But there are only 2 defendants left in this trial. Guess their connection to all of these things. Yeah.
X-ray.
It will be revealed during
Is this
cross-examination.
the second
exactly how
firearm that
little
was in that
the
kitchen cabinet?
defendants have
Yes.
in this-
And
in
what
this
type of
thing.
firearm is this?
This is a Smith & Wesson semi-automatic firearm.
And did it have a magazine and ammunition?
It did.
I am going to approach you with what's been marked as State's Exhibit 21 X-ray alpha. And if you can, Detective Storno, without taking it out of the box, just look at that item and see if you see a serial number.
I see the serial number.
And I'm going to publish 22 X-ray first. What is the serial number depicted on the screen?
The serial number on the screen is NCC 8806.
And what is the serial number on the firearm before you?
Serial number on the firearm in front of me is NCC 8800. I'm sorry. Yes, 8800.
Is that 00 on the screen? Could that be a 0 at the end?
Yes, that's a 0.
Does that appear to be the firearm collected that day?
It does.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to tender into evidence 21 X-ray alpha.
Submitted.
Now, Detective Storno, I am republishing 5 X-ray.
Now, if all of these guns with all of these serial numbers, if they were involved in crimes and everything, wouldn't you expect a criminal enterprise of the magnitude the state alleges to have removed serial numbers? And yet, there it is.
X-ray. And the far left open gray cabinets.
A question from Law Malcolm. How are they going to charge them 2 dudes with a gun in Jeff's house? Because RICO. In the Georgia RICO Act, if a crime is made in furtherance of the so-called gang, they all can be held guilty under the Georgia RICO Act. That's why all of this that has 0 to none affiliation with these 2 defendants can be brought in as evidence.
Do you see that in this photograph?
Yes.
And can you point that out for the jury?
Okay.
Right here.
Is that the cabinet we were just discussing with the suspected marijuana and the 2 firearms?
Yes.
I want to turn your attention to the closet across from that.
Okay.
Were there any items identified in that closet?
Yes, we recovered several items from that closet.
I'm going to publish what's been marked as 23 X-ray. What is depicted here?
That is a Glock gun box.
And does that have a serial number on that gun box?
Yes, it does.
What is that serial number?
The serial number is BVNU633.
I'm going to publish what's been marked as 24 X-ray. What do we have here?
That was a Glock magazine that we located containing ammunition.
In that closet?
That was recovered from that closet.
I'm handing you what's been marked as 24 X-ray alpha. Do you see a case number with this item, Detective Storno?
Yes.
Is that appear to be the same APD case number associated with this case?
It's the same. It's the same case number.
And if you could, Detective Storno, just open it enough to where you can look inside of it, but don't take it out.
Okay.
And with the APD case number and evidence markings and looking at the item, what is that?
There's a Glock magazine along with ammunition inside this envelope.
And is that a fair and accurate depiction of a Glock magazine with ammunition collected on the May 9th, 2022 search warrant?
Yes.
Your Honor, the state moves to tender into evidence 24 X-ray alpha.
Admitted.
Now, Detective Storno, I'm going to publish 25 X-ray. Did you find any other boxes in that storage closet on the first floor?
We've recovered a gun box, an empty gun box, as depicted in this photo.
And if I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, what type of gun box was this?
It was a gun box for a micro Draco semi-automatic firearm.
As much as I've heard about Georgia and the marijuana being criminal, they are headed towards decriminalization of weed. So had they waited another year, this might not even have been a crime to have marijuana in the house.
And what type of ammunition would that type of firearm hold?
7.62, 7.62 by 39.
I'm going to publish what's been marked as 26 X-ray. So in this home, when you walk in the front door, was there bedrooms on the first floor?
There were.
And was there any basement or lower level?
There was a staircase leading to a lower basement level.
And was there a second or third floor in that home?
Yes, there was also a staircase leading to upstairs.
Now, with this photograph, you remember there ever being a pantry in the home?
Yes, there was a pantry that was behind the refrigerator, like a whole room.
And is that the first floor of the residence?
That's the first floor.
I'm going to publish 27 X-ray. Now, is this a close-up photograph of that pantry?
Yes.
Now, when officers initially were in the home, did anything stand out about this pantry?
Not initially, no.
What did you all come to uncover about this pantry?
Officers conducting the search later found a hidden compartment, like a trap door behind the pantry.
I'm going to publish State's Exhibit 28 X-ray. Do you see an opening in that pantry?
Yes.
I'm going to publish 29 X-ray. Is this what you would see behind that?
So in case of somebody attacking or something, they have a safe space. How about that in a wealthy man's home? People who have lots of money tend to have secret compartments in their homes where they can hide.
Hidden trap door, so to speak.
Yes, that was the opening to the kind of the hidden compartment.
I'm going to publish 30 X-ray. What was inside of that compartment?
That seems to be, in my opinion, going away bag and self-defense. Yeah. A packed bag with necessities and a gun. Just in case. Do you know how many people have that in the United States? Lots of people have that.
Was a Glock firearm on the floor, and there was also 2 bags recovered from that hidden space.
And were those items brought out and looked through by the team?
Yes.
I'm going to publish 31 X-ray. Is this a close-up of the firearm that was found in that compartment of the pantry?
Yes, that's the firearm that was located in the hidden space.
And did it have a magazine and ammunition?
It did.
And what type of firearm was this?
That is a Glock firearm.
I'm going to publish 32 X-ray. What was the serial number on this firearm?
Serial number was BVNU 633.
Now, I am handing you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 31 X-ray alpha. Detective Storno, if you could, without taking it out of the box, would you please see if you see a serial number on the item in that box?
Yes, I see a serial number.
What is the serial number?
The serial number is BVNU 633.
Is that the same serial number of the firearm found in the compartment of the pantry?
It is.
Your Honor, the state moves, or is that a fair and accurate depiction of that, or is that the firearm that was found?
This was the firearm that was recovered in that secret compartment.
I'm going to tender into evidence, Your Honor, 32 is it, Detective Storno, can you help? Is it 31 X-ray Alpha on the top of that box? Yes, 31 X-ray Alpha at this time.
Submitted.
Detective Storno, I'm going to publish 33 X-ray. Now, is this a close-up of the 2 bags from that compartment?
Yes, it is.
I'm going to publish 34 X-ray. What was inside the pink bag? What do we have here?
We recovered multiple unopened bottles of promethazine codeine syrup.
And have you encountered promethazine or codeine syrup in your 18 years with Atlanta Police Department?
Yes,
I'm going to publish, or let me ask you this, was there multiple bottles?
there were multiple bottles that we recovered, yes.
I'm going to publish 35 X-ray. Is this the brown bag that was next to that bag in the compartment?
Yes.
I'm going to publish 36 X-ray.
My share.
What do we have here? What was inside of that bag?
In addition to the promethazine bottles, there was
Everything
a
here.
bag containing multiple bottles of various pills.
I'm going to
Various
publish,
pills.
well, let me ask you this. On the day of the search, did you know or able to tell what
Okay.
type of pills or items they were?
No, we did not identify the type of pills they were on the day of the search.
I'm going to publish 37 X-ray. After y'all went through the bag, did you ever line these items out to go through them?
Our members of our team did.
And is that what is depicted in this photograph?
Yes.
So you did not do it in a safe area. You just poured it out on a counter. Okay.
Now, I'm going to publish 38 X-ray. Is this a close-up of
And Mr.
the
Jingles is
miscellaneous
having
pills
his
and items in
OnlyFans
that
moment
bag
over
in the
here, so I'm
compartment?
just going
Yes.
to cover that.
And ultimately, with these items, did the APD gang unit ever place these
Mr. Jingles, if it would be so nice of you to not lick your butt on live stream.
items in a larger bag
Yes.
and ever transport them to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation?
They're eventually transported to the GBI.
And would that be under the same case where we've been discussing?
Yes.
I am approaching the witness with what's been marked as 37 X-ray Alpha. Now, Detective Storno, do you see a APD case number on that item?
Yes, I do.
And is that the APD case number for this case we've been discussing?
Yes, it's the same case number.
And with looking at the items, and if you need to open it, you may.
Yeah, and let's head to cross-examination. I mean, there are more pictures. Then there was a break. Let me just check so I didn't skip any cross-examination.
Was anyone else killed the same night as him?
Yes, the other individual Mr. McMillan was in a car with was a Mr. Darius Ford, whom was also shot and killed that night as well.
On the highway?
On the highway.
Okay. Yeah, it's just more of the same. So we're moving ahead.
Is everybody ready to get the jury back in? Yes, no, yes, yes.
Where's Mr. Atkins? I think you probably won't. Yeah, okay.
So Laura.
All right. We are headed to cross-examination. Here is where the interesting stuff happens. Okay, jury's getting in. Oh, this moment between Mr. Weinstein and Mr. Shard.
Give me like some more minutes to see if I can figure out the answer. I may or may not have what I need. I just don't know. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Weinstein and Mr. Shard are real life friends. I don't know if they knew each other before this trial, but they have become really good friends during this trial, at least. And the banter between them on Twitter is amazing.
Detective Storno. Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Detective Storno.
Good afternoon.
I know I briefly introduced myself to you a few minutes ago, but I am Doug Weinstein. I am Diamante Kendrick's lawyer.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Let's talk about the home on Allison Way for a few minutes. You said this home was Jeffrey Williams' home, correct?
That's correct.
Are you aware of all the other people that were living in the home at the time?
Not all of the individuals, no.
Okay, but you were aware other people other than Jeffrey Williams were living in that home at the time?
There were definitely other people that were residing in the house.
Mr. Kendrick was not one of the people that resided in that home.
We have reason to believe that he was living in the residence for some days leading up to the search warrant.
He was a guest in the home, correct?
It depends how you want to say he was a guest, or was he staying for an extended stay?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
What's the difference between the two? Officer Hideaway, Storno, extended stay? Well, days. Well, I have guests sometimes that stays for a couple of days. They are still guests. If it's not their permanent living quarters in some shape or form, they are guests. Why the need to avoid or try to embellish?
Can you, Ms. Knight, would you put up, let's put up 5XX, please. Publish that. By the way, while that's being published, when you looked around this house was like a party house, wasn't it? I mean, what's your opinion when you saw that?
Objection, Your Honor. Call for speculation.
When you went in the house with 5XX up here, let's look in the lower left corner of 5XX. What do you see in the lower left corner?
Some red, talking about the red cups.
Yeah, the red cups.
Uh-huh.
How many, I'll call them red Solo brand cups. How's that?
Okay.
How many of those red Solo brand cups do you see there?
Just depicted here in the photo, I can see at least 7, maybe 6 or 7.
6 or 7. And they're in those like a racking a billiard cue setup, right?
That's correct.
Is that the type of thing that you have one of those in your home?
I do not know.
Okay. Neither do I, but I guess that's neither here nor there.
No, it's not. So let's
so
not
what
be
about-
making commentary.
Okay, Your Honor. What about your knowledge of Mr. Williams? Do you know this home was occupied by, or the resident of this home, is someone that suffered from drug problems? Are you aware of that?
Objection, Your Honor. Assume the facts not admitted evidence.
Sustained.
Okay, let's talk about what you found in the home. The marijuana that you found, what appears to be marijuana that you found in the home. Was Mr. Kendrick holding that marijuana when he was apprehended, arrested?
No.
Was Mr. Kendrick, let's put up 9XX, please. Could you publish 9XX? I'm not going to go through these one by one. I don't want to belabor the point. Okay, 9XX. That marijuana that you, or what looks like marijuana that's there, was Mr. Kendrick found around that marijuana?
I don't believe he was. I believe he was apprehended attempting to exit the residence. So not near that marijuana right there. No, he
okay, we'll get into where he was at.
Yeah. The reason why Mr. Weinstein is asking this is in order to attribute marijuana or gun, you need to be within arm's reach. That's the usual standard to actually attribute some kind of paraphernalia on a person. And this cop is trying so hard to attribute anything to Mr. Kendrick. It's ridiculous. We believe he was about to we believe he just exited a home. I mean, just answer the question short, concise. What? And I know he's a cop that really wants to help the prosecution, but for me, it's over obvious he is embellishing his testimony to help the prosecution, but it comes out so disingenuous, in my opinion.
Apprehended in the future, but he was not, as far as you know, around this marijuana when he was apprehended, when he was arrested.
Well, he was inside the residence.
He was arrested from inside the residence.
I'm asking, like, are you saying, was he within a certain amount of feet of the marijuana, or?
Sure. Was he within arm's length of the marijuana?
No, I did not believe he was.
Okay. Was this taken off of his body?
No.
Were any of these drugs, and I want to go one by one, so let's try general if that'll work. Were any of these drugs that you've shown today, were any of these drugs taken off of Mr. Kendrick?
No, not off his person, no.
Okay. What about the numerous weapons that's been shown to you today that you've shown? Were those taken off Mr. Kendrick?
Not his person, no.
Were they found within his arm length?
Within his arm length, no.
Okay. Here, let's look at, what is this number? Okay. 62XX, what, alpha?
I'm sorry, Mr. Weinstein. Yeah, that's 62 X-ray alpha.
Okay, 62 X-ray alpha. I'm going to hand you one of these. Your Honor, may I give the jury some samples of 62 X-ray?
You may not.
They'll return it. Okay. 62.
Yeah, that came out a bit weird. You will see what he means. This is a bottle of THC supplement of sorts. And he phrased it as, may I give the jury some samples? And the judge says, no, you may not. I'm sure Doug only meant, can I give them a bottle to look at? But it came out very, hey, let's have a party in the courtroom. Oh, yeah. Oh, poor dog. Poor dog. His phrasing here was not the best. Can I give the jury some samples? No, you may not. Oh, no, that's not what I meant.
X-ray alpha. Let's look at that. Can you read what's on the front label of 62 X-ray alpha?
Sure. It has YSL, Young Stoner Life, slime drink syrup, pink cotton candy, 420 milligrams, 8 THC, net weight 5 ounces, 150 milliliters.
Okay, and what's before the 8? Does that look like a delta to you, like it says delta 8?
Yes,
Okay, so it's delta 8 THC, at least according to the label, correct?
that's correct.
And that's the same kind of delta 8 THC that you can buy all around Atlanta at the stores.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so let's look at the back for just a moment. Can you turn it over and look at the back label?
Yes.
I'm not going to have you read all of that, but it says pink cotton candy, 420 milligrams, delta.
And by the way, that bottle with that THC supplement, that's not illegal. It is sold all over Georgia. It's not illegal, folks. But they still add it into evidence because, oh, it says THC. Yeah.
Delta 8 THC, correct?
Correct.
And what's the word below that?
The warning.
Warning. And below that warning is a long paragraph of, if you want to read it over first, that's fine, but a long paragraph of warnings about use of the product, correct?
Yes.
And it's the type of warning you'd see on, other products that you might buy at a drugstore, correct?
Correct.
Below that warning, the next pink printing you see, what does that say?
Ingredients.
Would you read the ingredients, please?
Allulose, simple syrup, sodium, benzoate, citric acid, food coloring, flavor additive, cannabinoid distillates from hemp, sunflower, lecithin.
Okay. I don't know how any of that's pronounced.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. In Jeffrey Williams' plea deal, he pled guilty to gun charges and drug possession, which means all the guns and all the drugs that are presented here, Mr. Williams have claimed ownership over it. So these guys, according to Mr. Williams' plea deal, not theirs. Not theirs.
Probably
Either.
messed it up.
No. The back to the warning just a minute. Would you just read the first sentence of the warning, please?
In accordance with the provisions of the 2018 Farm Bill, this product contains no more than 0.3% Delta-9
You can just say THC if you don't.
THC on a dry weight basis.
Okay. So again,
0.3%.
this is the state, assuming this is correct as to what's in it, this is the same type of thing that is available for sale around Atlanta.
It may be. I haven't seen it in the.
Okay, below ingredients, there's another pink text. What does that text say?
Directions.
Would you read that?
Must shake well, mix with favorite drink, and enjoy.
And 1 capful per serving, correct?
That's correct.
And then at the very bottom, what type of label? What do you see on that part of the label?
You talking about the nutrition facts or the?
The nutrition facts.
Uh-huh.
So there's nutrition facts there. What did it say there?
20 servings. Each serving size is 1 cap, 7.5 milliliters.
Okay, and it's got the serving size, amount per serving. It has your carbs. You know, if you're tracking your calories, that's there, right? So it's the same type of nutrition label you see on all kinds of other products, correct?
Correct.
What's below that for manufacturer?
Below the manufacturer is a website.
No, I'm sorry. Where it says manufactured by, what does that read?
Elemental Extractions, Huntington, West Virginia, with the 25705 zip code.
Okay. So this does not seem like a particularly nefarious product, given the warning, the ingredients, the directions. It's like any other product you might buy, correct?
I guess it's any other Delta 8 product. you may
Okay.
buy.
Okay. Thank you very much. Are you? Let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with property evidence summary reports? In general, property reports. Are you familiar with those?
Yes.
I want to show you this a moment. Take a look at that and tell me if that's something that you're generally familiar with.
Yes.
Pink Slime says, being hanging out in another stream, that Delphi murder trial is even more mind-boggling than this one. Yeah, there will be no court on Thursday. No court on Thursday in this trial. And Friday will be just motions, I believe. So not a jury day, so no jury Thursday and Friday. Thursday, I will try to give you an update on the Delphi trial as much as I can, because it's not streamed, because Judge Gull or Judge Gould is a twat who tries to hide her. And I've said this before, Judge Glanville in this trial, the only time he should be allowed back into a courtroom is that if he is a defendant. The Delphi trial makes Judge Glanville look like a saint. And I will give you an update on Thursday on that. But Friday, normal day. And remember, Friday panel show. I hope to have Doug and Max back here on Friday to hear their input on the this week. And ask Doug if he ever gave out any samples. All right, let's continue.
I have a moving microphone.
I'm sure there's one you can borrow somewhere.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I'll just leave this with you for now, and then I'll ask you some questions. So this is a report you're familiar with, correct?
Yes.
Okay. This property, can you read at the top what it says for case number?
They have a report.
Case number is 221291090.
I'd like this marked as DK10, admitted into evidence, as the property report from this case number that was just read. DK10.
Now it gets interesting. The property report this now. Now you gotta, after this cross-examination, you need to ask yourselves, who's the actual criminals?
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, it's admitted.
Would you look at the detailed inventory of go past the vehicles to the detailed inventory of the individual items that were seized from the home? This is from Jeffrey Williams' home, correct?
Correct.
And what page are you on now? You're on page
5.
Page 5. And that is a list of vehicles and property that was seized, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you didn't complete this particular form, correct?
No, the evidence property form, no, I did not.
And are you familiar with the procedure of how you itemize lists on a property form? Like, what level of detail do you normally go into when you're itemizing items that are seized during a search and seizure warrant?
Well, you generally like to list, if it's an item that has a serial number, you'll list that. You'll describe the item. You'll list whether it's evidence or just property. And if there's a value known, you'll put that, and you'll also add who was in possession of the said item.
Okay. Keep a hold of that for a moment, and I'm going to show you some other pictures that came from the search of the home that day, search of Jeffrey Williams' home. Tell me if you're familiar with these images, please.
I am.
Okay. You're going to look at all 4 of them just to make sure. Okay, so I'd like to introduce into evidence what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit DK11A, or 11 Alpha, 11B, 11C for Colette, and 11D.
DK11.
DK11A,
and D.
A, B, C, and D.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
They're admitted.
Okay, Mr. Kokomo, can you put up DK11A, please? Can you tell us what we're looking at in DK11A?
Looks like we're looking at a bunch of jewelry as well as a stack of currency.
And I don't know if you know the answer to this, but do you know where this was found in Mr. Williams' home?
I don't recall off the top of my head where this jewelry was located.
But it was found in Mr. Williams' home, correct?
Correct.
Could you put DK11B, please? What are we looking at in DK11B?
I believe it's same picture, just it shows more of the jewelry and watches.
DK11C, please, Mr. Kokomo.
More jewelry. Looks like there's some rings.
And DK11D, what are we looking at there?
There's a sunglass case, a ring case, more jewelry.
Okay. And would you agree that this property likely, just upon looking at it, has significant value?
Most likely, yes.
Okay. And would this be something, when you were doing an itemized evidence report, that you would list piece by piece into that report?
Piece by piece. It depends. With so much jewelry, that might be categorized all together with just jewelry.
If you just categorize it together as just jewelry, what are the procedures in place to make sure that all of this jewelry?
Pay attention to the question and the answer from this cop.
Categorized all together with just jewelry.
If you just categorize it together.
Let's go back a bit more.
And would you agree that this property likely, just upon looking at it, has significant value?
Most likely, yes.
Okay. And would this be something, when you were doing an itemized evidence report, that you would list piece by piece into that report?
Piece by piece. It depends. With so much jewelry, that might be categorized all together with just jewelry.
If you believe items are product of crime, you itemize it. Everything in a raid or a search after a search warrant, everything is itemized. Random jewelry? No. Just no. Because just, for instance, say, ignore that this is the YSL Recall trial. Say that this is the home of a known burglar. And they find all of this jewelry. Do you think any court would be satisfied with jewelry in one bag? No. Each piece of property has to be itemized. So who's the owner? Is it, they need to report to the insurance companies. I mean, seriously.
If you just categorize it together as just jewelry, what are the procedures in place to make sure that all of this jewelry is properly tracked and doesn't walk off at some point?
Well, you would place it in an evidence bag, create a property tag for it, and secure the evidence and turn it into property.
Okay. Do you know if that was done in this case?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
You believe so? Then where is it? Where is
So if there was any particular piece of jewelry that had significant value and it was amongst here, you would have put that in a property bag and would still be in the possession of evidence. Is that correct?
Any property that was seized would be in a property bag and submitted to evidence.
And if it disappeared from the home and didn't appear in the property bag with evidence, where would that property be?
If it disappeared from the home
Yes.
and not in property,
Yes.
I couldn't say where the property would be.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Yeah. Where is it? Where is the $500,000 clock? Where is everything? If everything is just put in one bag, where did the missing things go? I have a suggestion.
Oh, Mr. Williams lost his gold stash. Miss Willis Quinn with a sly flash. Questions rising, where did all be hid? In the night shadows, that crafty kid. Neighbors gossip over backyard fence. Strangeness, food, mystery intense. Digging through stories full of holes. Dust and dirt secrets unfold. Tell me, Miss Willis, where you been? Where'd you hide that shiny sin? Answers lurking in your smile. Gold on this and twisted trial.
Yeah, I have an idea. Yeah, this Atlanta Police Department and the district attorney's office, they are so they are so corrupt, it's actually not funny. I'm trying to make it somewhat funny, but where's the stuff? They just poured everything in one bag. No, everything is, if you believe it is evidence, then it has to be itemized. But yet, it's gone. It's gone. I believe, and this goes to the civil forfeiture, the case that it's still up, where Fulton County wants to have everything Mr. Williams owns that is of value. They tried to have that into the into Mr. Williams' plea deal, and Josh Whitaker just says no. No. Yeah, there is an article. Thank you, Casper. New York jeweler was fighting Fulton County DA for young thugs jewelry. Most jewelry seems to be property of others. They lend him jewelry as promotion. And that is gone. And I believe that 100,000 lawsuit is just one that might be in the works, because the cops refuses, the DA's office refuses to give out an itemized list, because at some point, even if you pour it in one bag, you still need to itemize it. And it's not. It's not. Yeah, weeks and wine. Each piece of evidence is supposed to be placed in an evidence bag and itemized on a property report, and then a record number is supposed to be assigned to that report. And here it's just jewelry. Where's the money, Fannie Willis? Did you already sell it to pay Nathan Wade his $700,000? Did you sell it? Wasn't it enough to allegedly embezzle money that should have gone to over 1,000 grape kits that has still yet not been tested in Fulton County? This is so, yeah. This is the corruption in Atlanta by elected officials, by cops. Stuff goes missing. If there is money, well, if there was money, stacks of money in that house, every single bill should be counted. Every single bill. They didn't do it. They just put it in an evidence bag, and some went missing.
Anything, Mr. Short?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
Investigator, good afternoon. My name is Max Shard. I represent Shannon Stillwell, okay?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. May 9th, 2022 is the date of this execution of the search warrant, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. You started to say that you knew, you thought there were other people living there, and then you gave an opinion about Mr. Kendricks living there. Who, to your understanding, who was living at that residence, if you know?
I don't know who was living there, just the occupants that were there during the time that we served the search warrant, other than obviously Mr. Williams resided there.
Okay. Okay, so you don't know of any other individuals, you're just basing on who was there at the time?
I don't know who was living there on a permanent basis other than Mr. Williams.
Okay, fair enough. All right. How many guns were taken from Mr. Williams' residence on May 9th, 2022?
I believe it was 6 firearms that were located.
6 firearms, some ammunition, some magazines.
Correct.
Clips.
Yes.
All right. I want to ask you, out of the 6 firearms that were collected from this residence on May 9th, 2022, to your knowledge, did any of those firearms ballistically match any of the shell casings from January 10th, 2015 outside the barbershop on outside the barbershop in Mechanicsville?
I have not reviewed the ballistics reports on those firearms.
Okay, so you do not have any information of any of these firearms matching the January 10th, 2015 shooting of Donovan Thomas?
I do not.
Okay. How about these 6 firearms that you collected on May 9th, 2022? Do you have any information that even suggests that these firearms, any of these firearms match any shell casings or any ballistics from the March 14th, 2022 shooting of Shamel Drinks?
No, as I said, I have not reviewed the ballistics results from those firearms being test fired.
Okay. Now, when you executed the search warrant, May 9, 2022, my client Shannon Stillwell was not present.
No, he was not.
Okay. Do you know how long Mr. Williams had owned this residence?
I do not know the approximate time he owned it.
Okay. Fingerprints in that residence. Are you aware of any fingerprints belonging to Mr. Stillwell that were ever located in that residence?
I am not aware of any.
How about DNA? Any of Mr. Stillwell's DNA?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you have any evidence at all that Mr. Shannon Stillwell has ever, even once, been present, visited, ever gone to that residence on Allison Drive?
I do not have any evidence that he's been to that residence.
No evidence at all.
I do not have any, no.
Thank you.
Ta-da!
That's it. All right, yeah, redirect.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead.
Thank you.
How are they going to redirect this?
Detective Storno, was it around 6 p.m. when you began staging or getting close to entering the home on May 9th, 2022?
It was around
That should have been objected because asked and answered. He already went through this. If you have a bad redirect, don't have the redirect. You can't just reiterate what you already have asked about on direct examination in the redirect, in my
around 6
opinion.
p.m. when the search warrant was executed.
And before 6 p.m. on May 9th, 2022, were you ever inside of that home at 355 Allison Drive?
I had never been inside that home, no.
So when asked questions about who was present or what transpired in that home, until you stepped foot in it, had you ever been in there before?
No.
And when the Titan unit and the SWAT unit clears a residence, is it, let me ask you this. Is there any noises before they enter the home? Is there any way for anyone inside of the home to know that someone is coming?
Well, to my knowledge, SWAT did announce their presence.
And was there any air units or audible helicopters or anything like that involved?
Yes, our air unit did assist in the execution of the search warrant.
And does the APD SWAT unit who participated in that search, do they utilize drones as well?
Yes.
When you said it was roughly, on cross-examination, you were asked questions about, do you have any evidence if defendant Kendrick was within arm's reach or had any drugs or firearm on him? Do you recall that?
Yes.
How long was it from when SWAT first announced their presence to people in the home before that house was able to be searched?
At least around 30 minutes.
And when you had mentioned where it was,
That is, in my opinion, quite devious, because they took control of the people and then they commenced the search. They did know where people was when they apprehended them.
defendant Kendrick arrested inside the home or outside the home?
I do not recall whether he was arrested inside the home or outside. I know he was attempting to flee and was apprehended by uniformed officers executing the search of that were entering the residence.
And how many you remember the kitchen cabinet we had discussed with the suspected marijuana and the tan and black firearm?
Yes.
How many grams of marijuana were recovered in the residence?
A total of, I believe it was 1,299 grams of marijuana.
And
that's
in the
low.
time frame from when SWAT announced their presence to when APD gang unit personnel were collecting items, was there enough time to place items in the home?
Yes, there was ample opportunity to hide items in the home between the time that SWAT actually was able to clear the residence.
And with that secret compartment in the pantry, do you remember that?
Yes.
Did you need a passcode or anything to open it?
As Monica Brassard says here, it doesn't take 30 minutes to get inside when they are already set to go in. They're going in, they apprehend the people immediately. They don't wait no 30 minutes to apprehend people. They are inside their residence. It might be 30 minutes. Okay, let's get the people, and then they commence the search. It doesn't mean they weren't inside. Jesus Christ, this is bad.
No.
Is it easy to open up that pantry door?
Yeah, it's easy to open up if you know where it is.
I also wanted to ask you that, well, Your Honor, may I briefly approach?
Yes.
And dun dun dun, sidebar count 327. I mean, if you don't have anything good to say on redirect, don't say anything. It just looks stupid. I mean, 30 minutes? That is disingenuous. I mean, they were in the house securing it. From the moment, bang, 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 we have a warrant. Bang, they are inside securing everything. That's not a half hour. All right, let's skip ahead. The good thing about recapping, you can skip through the boring parts.
Your Honor, while we were speaking, the items we were discussing have arrived. So thank you, Your Honor. So, Detective Storno, I'm going to approach you with what's been marked as 70 X-ray.
What's this item? I haven't watched this. I have no idea what will be going on here.
Detective Storno, do you have an APD case number associated with, is the APD case number for this case on that piece of evidence?
Yes,
And can you do me a favor and open that up and look inside of it?
sure.
Thank you.
Oh, they're now showing the gun. Thank you. Laugh, always have fun.
You can go ahead and open up the.
If you could, Detective Storno, thank you.
Okay.
And what are the items that are contained inside of this?
It's a whole bunch of jewelry, watches, some chains recovered from the residence. Rings.
The state at this time does appear. The state at this time moves to tender into evidence 70 X-ray.
Oh, please don't say he's going to ask, does anything seem missing? How the fuck would you know if you didn't itemize it? If you just poured everything in a bag? How the fuck would you know if anything's missing? Oh, sorry, folks. Sorry.
That's another. No, outside looking on that.
No, Your Honor, I'm going to keep it in one 70 X-ray box. No further questions. Thank you, Detective Storno.
The Recross.
So they were just, oh, look at the pile of jewelry. As if that counteracts what was in it. Why didn't we itemize it?
Detective, that's all the jewelry that was seized right there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you look through that and tell me if there is a Richard Mill or Mille, M-I-L-L-E, RM055 Bubba Watson white ceramic watch? It's pretty distinctive as it's white ceramic, so that might help your search.
Okay. So, I mean, I see a Richie Miller, but only it's a pink one. I don't see a white one.
I want you to confirm that there is no white one in there, just so you're certain.
You might need more space than that.
You want to see what he is looking for? This is what they are looking for. And it's not there. It was in the home. And now it's gone. A $300,000 watch just went missing from Mr. Williams' home during the search of his home. Yeah, I know, Miss Unpopular Opinion. His specific version of this is $350,000. This is the picture I found. Oh, not I found. I found on Twitter. Somebody else found it. I believe it is. Let's here. The account, a view from Tracy's point. All right, let's continue to listen. I mean, the prosecution invited this in by putting all that jewelry. They invited this. I mean, they didn't bring it up during cross-examination. The state brought in the jewelry, inviting the defense. Well, where's this item? Oh, Aussie raid. Hey, Aussie. Hey, Aussie. Ooh. Let's see. Let's see. Can I? He just okay. He just welcome. Let me see. Ooh. I sent an invite to Hayden, also known as Aussie Overlord. I think he might have some opinion. I can't wait to explain this to him if he chooses to join. All right, let's continue.
Yeah, there's not a white one here.
Okay, thank you. That's all I need. I have no more questions.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, the state during Mr. Williams' plea agreement hearing, the state asked the judge about keeping his belongings when they already had taken it. The judge said no, because it's subject to civil action. Because some of it isn't even Mr. Williams. Some of it went missing. So where is it, Miss Willis? Is it in your mattress? Where you keep the money you paid Mr. Wade for the trips? Where is it?
Excuse Judge. Thank
And y'all might need a minute.
Okay. Skipping. Yeah, in those bags there are jewelry and watches for well over $1 million. To my recollection. And some of it is just gone. Gone. And if there is a pawn shop near Fanny Willis' residence, they should look through that pawn shop for whatever things goes missing between raids and evidence collection. Okay. Are they having a break? They were having a break until the next witness. This, I believe, is the final witness of the day.
You raise your right hand. You swear affirm testimony you give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. State spell first and last name for the courts. I'll do that, Mike.
First name Usainu, Ousseynou. Last name Samba, Samba.
Good afternoon, Officer Samb.
Good afternoon, sir.
I'm sorry, Sergeant Samb. And can you just do me a favor and speak to the microphone directly?
Sure.
Thank you. Sergeant Samb, where are you employed?
With the City of Atlanta Police Department,
And how long have you been employed with AD?
9 years.
Can you kind of orient the jury with your career path during your time with AD?
Yes, sir. I came out 2016, was assigned to Zone 5 FOD, where you answer 911 calls. I was on the watch patrolling for 8 months. After 8 months, I was assigned to the crime suppression unit, focused more on the Midtown area. I was there for about a year. Then I was transferred to the field investigation team for about another year. Then from there, I went to the Apex unit for 2.5 years. Got promoted to investigator, went to the aggravated assault unit for 5 months. Then I was promoted to a sergeant and now assigned to Zone 1 FOD.
And what is your position at Zone 1?
I'm a supervisor on day watch.
Sergeant, are you post certified?
Yes, sir.
And have you maintained the post certification throughout your career?
Yes, sir, I have.
I want to turn your attention to May 2022. What unit were you assigned to?
I was assigned to the Apex unit.
And what does APEX stand for?
Apex is a violent crime unit that stands for Atlanta Proactive Enforcement and Interdictions.
Now, does the APEX unit work closely with the SWAT unit?
Yes, they do.
And what are some of, strike that. When the APEX unit is working with the SWAT unit, what is the role of the APEX unit?
Usually we are assigned to maintain the perimeter of the location where the SWAT is entering or searching.
Now, with respect to a execution of a search warrant, does the SWAT unit and APEX unit meet to devise a tactical plan of execution?
Yes, prior to going to the location, we always meet up and we everybody get their assignment so they can understand what's their role once they get to the location.
And when APEX does meet with the SWAT, do they meet in a close location?
It depends. Sometimes it can be at the headquarters. Sometimes it can be somewhere near the location where they're gonna do the search warrant or the arrest warrant.
And when you leave the APEX leaves the staging area to go to the target location, does APEX and SWAT, do they move together or do they go separately?
Yes, sometimes we move together. Sometimes we get there first and we assume the perimeter. Then we let the SWAT team take over and go inside.
I want to turn your attention to May 9th, 2022. Did you, as an APEX officer, did you assist with the execution of the search warrant at 355 Allison Drive?
Yes, I did.
And as an APEX officer, what was your responsibilities that day?
My responsibility was to assume the perimeter. I was assigned to the right side of the location, outside the house, of course.
And with respect to this search warrant, did the APEX unit work in conjunction with the SWAT unit?
Yes.
And how did they work in conjunction together?
We met somewhere in Bucket. I don't remember the location, and everybody was given the assignment. And prior to getting to location, everybody knew where they were going to go once we arrived.
And what was your assignment?
I was assigned the perimeter. I was outside the location, standing on the right side of the house, where I could see the side and the back of the house.
Now, how long were you at your post or at your position before SWAT made entry?
I would say between 5, maybe 10 minutes.
I'm now going to show you what's been pre-marked. That states 68XX. Do you recognize that photo?
Yes, that's a overview. Okay. Yes, sorry.
Is that what is it?
It's like a overview shot of the location that we executed the warrant from.
I'm sorry.
It's an overview shot of the location where we were, where we went to.
Is that
Briefly.
I'm sorry, that,
Oh, go ahead.
is that a fair and accurate depiction of the location where the search warrant was executed?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to admit state 68XX.
Submit.
Now publishing state 68XX. Maybe on the screen in front of you or behind you. Sorry, it didn't sound like. A ruler. Maybe a ruler right behind you. Right behind you. Did you kind of orient the jury of your location that particular day?
Yeah, sure. I was assigned to this side of the house. I was standing somewhere over here. So I was able to see this side and also a part of this, the back side of the house. So basically I was standing right here with another officer.
Sergeant Samba, did you come into contact with Mr. Diamante Kendrick?
Yes, I did.
Can you describe for the jury how you came in contact with Mr. Kendrick?
Yes, while I was standing on the side of the house and waiting for the SWAT team to make an entry, at some point I could hear some rumbling on the back side of the house, which is like leading to a mini forest, like a bushes area. You could hear someone moving. At first I didn't see him, and
Okay, I got word from Ossie overall that he will be popping in like 5 to 10 minutes. I'm going to go back and show him the evidence collection when he shows up, just to see his reaction to it. It's going to be amazing.
then me and my partner, we could see a person running from the back of the house. He was running straight, heading toward other officers that were standing directly to the back of the house, and I was coming from the side. I don't think he saw me, so I was running toward him while he was running straight to the other officers. Once he made contact with those officers, he changed his directions. Now he started running toward me. Then he saw me. He went around a abandoned house, I believe. Went up a hill. I followed him, and we both ended in somewhere in a loading dock area where he was sitting behind a truck. That's when I first made contact with him.
Now, you said a lot, so I'm going to ask you to kindly point to the direction on the screen, on 68XX.
All right, so like I said, I was standing right here, and someone was moving around this area. When I saw him, he was running straight down here. The SWAT team command post was standing right here. So I started running this way. When he got to this point and made contact with those officers, he changed his direction, started running this way, when I was still coming down this way. Then he went up somewhere over here, I followed him. So we ended up somewhere over here, where the loading dock area was.
So if that area is loading dock area?
Yeah, somewhere over here, there's a loading dock area underneath. There's a loading dock area. Nowhere out in the river.
And that white building, is that what is that?
Yeah, this is the parking lot, but underneath, this is a higher level, but underneath there's a loading dock area, I believe.
Okay, and what about the white building, so the upper right corner? What is that building?
You know about this one? This one?
Right in front of where you were standing? Yeah, what is that building?
That's the location we were searching with the SWAT team.
Oh, you can ask me. Now, I want to pick up to when you first encountered Mr. Kendrick at the loading dock area. Okay?
Yes.
Walk the jury through what happened.
He was sitting behind a truck on the stairs. I finally made contact with him, and I had my duty weapon drawn. Gave him orders to either show me his hands or get to the ground. He was not complying after 2 or 3 times. When I realized that he was not armed, I holstered my duty weapon back and I approached him with my handcuffs. I believe I grabbed his right hand to put the handcuffs on, and he snatched away from me, and he took off running again.
Come in.
Yes.
Did you ask him for his name or his identification?
No, because at that time he was still not detained.
Did you try to detain him?
Yes, I tried. Just
All right. Everybody say welcome to Aussie Overlord.
G'day, g'day. How we doing, folks? Nick, thanks so much for the link. Appreciate it, buddy. How's things?
It's I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. There was this amazing situation in today's YSL trial. Completely
Okay.
that I really just need your reaction to it.
Okay. Now I'm concerned. All right.
Let's see here. I'm just trying to find it. Oh, where is it? Where is it? We just went through it. Darn it. I should keep timestamps.
Oh, yeah, I hate when that happens.
Well, this is about a raid of Mr. Williams' home. And in it,
Oh.
they found a bunch of jewelry and stuff.
Mhm.
And they just put all of it in one evidence bag named jewelry.
No, really?
Yeah, one evidence bag.
I'm not even sure how you write out a inventory receipt for that. Assorted jewelry, estimated value $200.
Well, let's go into Doug Weinstein's cross-examination here. And yeah.
I briefly introduced myself to you a few minutes ago, but I am Doug Weinstein. I am Diamante Kendrick's lawyer.
Now he asks a bunch about the party house, red solo cups. And then he has a moment where he asking, in Mr. Williams' home, he had this 1.3% THC drink mix of sorts.
Okay.
I mean, nothing notorious, but he phrased it so funny that Doug said he meant to say, "Can I give a bottle to the jury to have a look at?" But he phrased it as, "Can I give samples to the jury?"
Oh, no. Yeah, you don't really need the jury high during the middle of a criminal trial. Yikes.
That have been shown to you today, that you've shown, were those taken off Mr. Kendrick?
Not his person, no.
Were they found within his arm length?
Within his arm length, no.
Okay. Here, let's look at, what is this number? Okay. 62XX, what alpha?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Weinstein. Yeah, that's 62 X-ray alpha.
Okay, 62 X-ray alpha. I'm going to hand you one of these. Your Honor, may I give the jury some samples of 62 X-ray?
You may not.
They'll return it. Okay.
Yeah, that's a bad way to phrase it.
You may not.
I am not impressed with that phrasing, counselor. Ooh, yeah. That's, oh dear.
But his cross-exam after this cop, who for some reason doesn't want his face shown, he's part of the gang unit, but he's not undercover or anything. But it's a local Georgia rule: if you don't want your face shown and you have reasons for it, so no, well, the jury sees him, just not us, the audience.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
The
he's not
jury sees his
undercover
face,
or
we
anything.
don't, and he's gotten. So what's his reasoning? Is that he's a wuss or?
Yeah, I think that's the main reason. They don't say it out loud, but a lot of cops don't want their face shown because, ooh, it's a gang trial. I don't want my face shown. And then there are cops who, I don't care.
I mean, to a certain extent, a little bit of notoriety as a police officer is a good thing because you're more likely to have a little bit of street cred.
Yeah.
But
But we are soon getting into this jewelry stuff.
62 X-ray.
So I'm just skipping ahead.
Um,
I'm just saying
it says pink cotton candy, 400.
pink column. Yeah. You need a partner that looks at you the way Doug looks at this bottle, by the way. Doug
Dude's sitting
Weinstein.
like, this is how I'm going to be able to relax after this trial. I'm just going to down a couple of bottles of this and forget my troubles. Good God! Is that so I'm looking at that image on that computer. Is it all the bottles that they had of it just lying around?
Yeah.
Wow.
They confiscated, what was it, 1,200 grams of marijuana from the house.
Okay, so still less
1.2
baby oil than
kilos.
Diddy, though.
Yeah, half a pound.
Okay.
And 6 guns and everything. It was a lot of stuff in that house. But Mr. Williams have pled out, so he's no longer in this trial.
I did see that he. I mean, I read the terms. That to me sounds like a pretty sweetheart deal. Time served and what, 20 years of probation. All he's got to do is disappear off the map for a while.
Yeah, he got time commuted, 5 years in prison, but they redrew that. So he's on 15 years probation. 7.5 years of those is reported. If he stays clean, the next 7.5 years he doesn't have to report into a parole officer.
Damn.
And but he does have special conditions. I mean, he have to hold 4 charity events per year during his probation.
Okay.
So for the next 15 years, the court guaranteed Mr. Williams an audience. I don't. Yeah, publicity. Thank you, court. I mean, sure.
Yeah, but I mean, has this court stipulated as to what counts as a charity event? I mean, if he holds an event where there is a single person that is in the audience or something.
School events, charity concerts, so with a venue that accepts him and stuff like that. But I mean,
okay,
yeah, that, and he's not allowed to be in the Metro Atlanta area. So, and sure, okay.
Yeah, all right, just stay out of Georgia. Wait, no, because then how does he report? So wait, if he's got 7.5 years of probation where he's reporting, what, field office or just like local PD?
Local PD, field office, because he is allowed to travel and tour and everything. So he does have to report in somehow.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
yeah. This sounds like he got a good deal out of that, which.
Yeah, but if he screws up, he's facing 25 years. Because 10 years of prison time, if he managed to stay clean for 15 years, that's gone. But if he forks up, it's 15 years plus those 10. So 25 years if he screws up. So he still kind of need to.
No one's going to screw him over.
Yeah, he's not allowed to hang with convicted felons, except his brother and a business partner of his, because they're contractual issues. So
interesting.
Let's see if he starts asking about jewelry now, because this is interesting.
Let me ask you a question. Are you familiar with property evidence summary reports in general? Property reports. Are you familiar with those?
Yes.
I want to show you this a moment. Take a look at that and tell me if that's something that you're generally familiar with.
Yes.
I don't have a moving microphone.
I'm sure there's one you can borrow somewhere.
Thank you. I'll just leave this with you for now, and then I'll ask you some questions. So this is a report you're familiar with, correct?
Yes.
Okay, this property, can you read at the top what it says for case number?
Case number is 221291090.
I'd like this marked as DK10, admitted into evidence, as the property report from this case number that was just read, DK10.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
All right, it's admitted.
Would you look at the detailed inventory of go past the vehicles to the detailed inventory of the individual items that were seized from the home? This is from Jeffrey Williams' home, correct?
Correct.
And what page are you on now? You're on page
5.
Page 5. And that is a list of vehicles and property that was seized, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you didn't complete this particular form, correct?
No, the evidence property form, no, I did not.
And are you familiar with the procedure of how you itemize lists on a property form? Like, what level of detail do you normally go into when you're itemizing items that are seized during a search and seizure warrant?
Well, you generally like to list, if it's an item that has a serial number, you'll list that. You'll describe the item. You'll list whether it's evidence or just property. And if there's a value known, you'll put that, and you'll also add who was in possession of the said item.
Okay. Keep a hold of that for a moment, and I want to show you some other pictures that came from the search of the home that day, search of Jeffrey Williams' home. Tell me if you're familiar with these images, please.
I am.
Okay. We're going to look at all 4 of them just to make sure. Okay, so I'd like to introduce into evidence what's been marked as Defendant's Exhibit DK11A, or 11 Alpha, 11B, 11C for Colette, and 11D.
I feel like I'm either about to be very incredulous or very, very angry.
DK11.
DK11A,
and D.
A, B, C, and D.
Any objection?
No objection.
They're admitted.
Okay, Mr. Kokomo, can you put up DK11A, please? Can you tell us what we're looking at in DK11A?
Looks like we're looking at a bunch of jewelry as well as a stack of currency.
And I don't know if you know the answer to this, but do you know where this was found in Mr. Williams' home?
I don't recall off the top of my head where this jewelry was located.
But it was found in Mr. Williams' home, correct?
Correct.
Could you put DK11B, please? What are we looking at in DK11B?
I believe it's same picture, just it shows more of the jewelry and watches.
DK11C, please, Mr. Kokomo.
That's a lot
More
of
jewelry. It looks like there's some rings.
And DK11D, what are we looking at there?
There's a sunglass case, a ring case, more jewelry.
Okay. And would you agree that this property likely, just upon looking at it, has significant value?
Most likely, yes.
Okay. And would this be something, when you were doing an itemized evidence report, that you would list piece by piece into that report?
Most of it
Piece by
landed
piece?
to Mr. Williams.
It depends. With so much jewelry, that might be categorized all together with just jewelry.
If you just categorize it together as just jewelry, what are the procedures in place to make sure that all of this jewelry is properly tracked and doesn't walk off at some point?
Well, you would place it in an evidence bag, create a property tag for it, and secure the evidence and turn it into property.
Okay. Do you know if that was done in this case?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
And he's walking right into it.
So if there was any particular piece of jewelry that had significant value and it was amongst here, you would have put that in a property bag and it would still be in the possession of evidence. Is that correct?
Any property that was seized would be in a property bag and submitted to evidence.
And if it disappeared from the home, and didn't appear in the property bag with evidence, where would that property be?
If it disappeared from the home
Yes.
and not in property,
Yes.
I couldn't say where the property would be.
Okay. Thank you. I have no further questions.
And
Anything,
now
Mr. Short?
redirect.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay, go ahead.
Investigator, good afternoon. My name is Max Sharp.
now Mr. Short goes through other things. Let's go to redirect. Because, I mean, the prosecution really walked into this
Mm.
by, yeah,
Detective Storno, was it around 6 p.m. when you began staging or getting close to
let's,
clears a residence? You said it was roughly on with all there. How many? That
Yes.
so now, oh, I need timestamps. Now they are all on redirect. They bring in the bag of jewelry
Oh no.
right after Mr. Weinstein tells this guy if an item went missing, they bring in the stash of jewelry.
And
During
yes, he goes through it
redirect.
one by one.
No, they just show it to the jury. Look at all this jewelry, more or less.
Mhm.
And then, during recross. Let's skip ahead to recross. I mean, why would you do that? And I mean, this is such an own goal.
Detective, that's all the jewelry that was seized right there. Is that correct?
Yes.
Can you look through that and tell me if there is a Richard Mill or Millet, M-I-L-L-E, RM055 Bubba Watson white ceramic watch?
Oh damn.
They're asking him to look for this one. The $300,000 watch that went missing during this search and seizure. Can you get us a wild guess if he finds it in the stash?
I'm gonna say it's probably on another officer's wrist by now.
Or in a local pawn shop near a cop? I mean, this
Look,
was such
you'd
an
hope they
own
wouldn't be
goal.
stupid enough to use the local one, but yeah, so basically what you're saying is that during cross they managed to goad the prosecution into bringing the bag in is effectively
Yeah.
what they did, and they walked right into the meat grinder.
Yeah.
Wow. How do you
And I
not
mean-
see that coming?
Yeah, how do you not see that coming? They specifically ask about missing things, and they bring in the bag of jewelry.
Yeah, no, that's stupid. They should have seen that coming from a mile away.
It's pretty distinctive as it's white ceramic, so that might help your search.
Okay. I mean, I see a Richie Miller, but only it's a pink one. I don't see a white one.
I want you to confirm that there is no white one in there, just so you're certain.
You might need more space than that.
Oh, the sound of that jewelry scraping as well.
I mean, they are having more than $1 million
Yeah,
worth
not
of jewelry
a white
up
one
on
here.
there.
Okay,
and
thank
they
you. That's
just-
all. That's all I need. I have no more questions.
Most of that is, I mean, Mr. Williams is a rap artist.
Mhm.
He gets lended jewelry and stuff to show off a watch that brings sales, jewelry that brings sales. So there is a civil forfeiture case up because a local jeweler have made $100,000 claim against the DA's office.
Oh,
He
no
wants
shit.
his property back.
I am not surprised.
Yeah, and they refuse the DA's office. They claim
Is
no.
this because it's already gone, or are they just
your guess is as good as mine.
See, this is part of the reason why I hate civil asset forfeiture. Unless it's directly proceeds of crime and can be established to be so, it shouldn't be a thing, honestly.
It's not zombie devil's advocate here. He asked for a white watch, but if you read your description on the webpage, you show, yeah, that's not the actual watch. That's just that a similar
Style.
that I
Yeah. Just to
it's not-
establish the price.
Yeah, establish the price. So it's not the actual watch that went missing. But thank you so much for your super chat. That's very, very nice of you.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
And the way they just back into evidence bags. I mean, oh, Ada, Alba, estimated 8 million in jewelry confiscated.
Bloody.
Yeah, might be a minute, but
No, that is civil forfeiture. Now, this was at least in a raid where alleged crimes and stuff. But there are so many cases around the United States where civil forfeiture is used for. I've heard examples of people going to local auctions
Mhm.
with stacks of cash, and the cops are just waiting. Well, this is now forfeited. We believe this is money in the commence of a crime. And then they just keep it. That's civil forfeiture. And it's unconstitutional, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. No, it's absolute BS.
Yeah, that's the respect they have for $8 million worth of jewelry and watches and stuff. Yeah, they walked right into that one. How can you be that stupid?
I do. Did you skip over him like hammering it home, or was it literally he just asked that question and then moved on from the recross though?
He moved on from the recross after that because I believe there are witnesses going forward in this trial where they can keep hammering it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, because it seemed like he went pretty light on that. I personally would have at least pointed out and said, well, hang on, I thought you said that things didn't go missing and that it should be in this bag. But if there's other witnesses where he can do that, that's probably more appropriate then. Okay.
Yeah. And since Mr. Williams, this is one of these tactics from the state that just backfires because Mr. Williams is no longer in this trial and Mr. Steele, his attorney, is probably the one who was supposed to bring this up. They might have thought, hey, we're safe now. We can bring this in. No, didn't work out well. Oh. And then we went on to this is just one of the officers that was involved in the raid.
Right.
So let's listen to, I mean, and it's, we walked in, normal cop testimony, but we'll listen to cross-examination because
No, I did not.
Cross-examinations is more or less, okay, what are the actual facts? I haven't listened to this cross-examination.
Sorry, Sam, do you recall collecting the phone or anything about
No, I don't remember that.
And this prosecutor is allergic to microphones.
Good afternoon. I'm Doug Weinstein. I represent Mr. Kendrick. How are you?
Good, how are you, sir?
Good. I want to make sure, can you put up that exhibit that shows the overhead? Thank you. You can charge Max for that. Would you point out again where you first saw Mr. Kendrick?
Can you turn the other way so you can kind of be facing the jury so they can make sure they hear you talking?
The first time I saw him, he was somewhere over here, I believe.
Okay, thank you. Did you see Mr. Kendrick exit the house?
No,
Okay,
no.
okay. And you can be seated. I don't believe I have any more questions that require you to stand. And did I also hear you say that Mr. Kendrick was not armed when you apprehended
Yes.
him? Okay. Do you remember him telling you that he was scared
No.
and wanting his mom?
I remember him calling his mom.
Okay, thank you. I have no more questions.
All right. Ms. Striding, questions? All right, any redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you for your time. You may step down, call your next witness.
The state called GBI chemist Lowry.
Okay,
She goes by Brennan now, but it's Lowry for the witness list.
I assume this witness is just about, yeah, the drugs we found in the house, we tested it, and yeah. This is the best part with recaps. You can skip ahead.
State spelling, first and last name. What questions you let me know, please?
Morgan Brennan, Morganbrennan.
Good afternoon, Ms. Brennan. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well. Can you tell the jury where you are employed?
The Georgia Bureau of Investigation, or the GBI.
And how long have you been employed by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation?
A little over 5 years.
What is your role or capacity there?
I'm a forensic chemist.
And can you tell the jury what you do as a forensic chemist?
I test suspected drug evidence for the presence or absence of controlled substances.
Now, how long, well, let me ask you this. Before becoming a forensic chemist, what kind of training do you need before working?
I had to complete my bachelor's degree in forensic chemistry and general chemistry, and I completed the drug identification training program at the GBI.
And where did you obtain those degrees from?
Towson University.
And once you had that specialized training, is that put on by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation?
It is.
And what does that training entail in general?
We practice with known samples and unknown samples to do our analytical and instrumentation techniques. We go through lectures, readings, and we have examinations consisting of practical, oral, and written.
And have you testified in court proceedings before on items that you've tested?
I have.
And have you been tendered as an expert before?
I have.
Approximately how many times?
About 7 times.
And what were you tendered as an expert as?
As a forensic chemist.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to tender as an expert, deemed an expert in forensic chemistry, Your Honor.
all right. She is so qualified and may testify as such.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you explain the general process for testing items that you receive at the GBI?
When I receive suspected drug evidence, I'll compare the evidence in front of me and the submission form submitted with it with the information that is input when the evidence is received at the lab. And then I'll do a visual examination and then continue my examination from there, depending on the type of evidence.
Now, when you receive evidence from, is it have the APD case number or other law enforcement agency along with it?
Yes, there are unique identifiers based on that agency.
And what is the unique identifying system for GBI?
When evidence is submitted to the GBI, everything is photographed and cataloged into our Laboratory Information Management System, or LIMS, and that is when everything will get photographed and given a unique GBI case number and barcode.
Now, when you receive multiple items from one case, do you ever have to, what's your process for numbering or identifying, say, when you receive multiple items from one agency on one case?
So when items are submitted in separate packages from the agency, those are given a unique GBI case number with a -1 counting up sequentially. And then within that package, if things look visually inconsistent, we call them different populations, and I will then sequentially separate them. For example, the first bag will be item 1, and then each item, sub-item within there will become 1A, 1B, and so forth.
So if, for example, you had an assortment of unidentified pills, if you had different shapes or colors of pills, would you ever organize differently those items?
Yes, anything that is visually different. So for pills, for example, anything that's a different color, shape, or logo identification will be assigned a different unique item number.
And when you receive, say, for example, you have something that has hundreds of pills or you have multiple grams or milliliters of a substance, do you test all of the substance?
No, I test a representative sample of that population.
Now, did you ever have, or did you ever test items associated with APD case number 221291090?
Yes.
And Your Honor, I am going to approach the witness with what's been marked as 70 X-ray.
You marked the jewelry 70.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. I will mark this as 71 X-ray alpha.
All right.
Do you recognize that?
I do.
What is that?
This is my lab report for item 1 for this case.
And in general, can you describe for the jury, or is it a fair and accurate depiction of item 1 lab report you did for this case?
Yes.
Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to tender into evidence 71 X-ray alpha.
Admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, who was this from Atlanta Police Department?
Yes.
And who was the requesting, does it have who it was requested by, as in a detective or officer?
Yes. On the submission form, it was Officer Joseph Storno.
When were these items received by the GBI lab?
They were received July 27th, 2022.
And for this specific item, what did the GBI receive?
I received 2 containers of solid material.
I am going to approach you with what's been marked as, or already admitted as, 37 X-ray Bravo. If you could have a minute and take a look at that. Do you see any markings that you made on that item?
I do. I see my signature and the date that I sealed the evidence.
And is that a process that you do for any item that you test at the GBI?
Yes.
Now, how is there any
this up to
numbering system
1.5
for this
speed
item?
because
As in, like how you numbered it?
Yes, and each container, I also
has
label with the unique
competency.
GBI case number and item number, as well as my initials.
And what is the unique, I guess, sub number for this? Not the APD case number, not the GBI dot this number, but was this 3, 1, 2? What was this specific item before you?
Items 1A and 1B.
And is that what is in the packages that you have up there before you?
Yes.
And what testing did you perform on those items?
I performed electric balance, gas chromatography, mass spectrometry, and thin layer chromatography.
Can you just explain what that means or what that entails?
Yeah, so the balance is essentially just weighing the item. Gas chromatography, mass spectrometry, or GCMS, will separate any components of the mixture and allow me to uniquely identify those separate components. And thin layer chromatography, again, can separate the components of the mixture, and I can identify if I have a standard.
And for this case, was this numbered as 1A and 1B on the 2 containers that you tested?
Yes.
And is there 2 containers inside of there before you?
There is.
How much did 1A weigh?
1A had a total net weight of 0.791 grams.
And what did 1B have?
A total net weight of 0.869 grams.
Did either of those substances test positive for any controlled substance?
They did.
What controlled substance?
Both had a conclusion of analysis confirms the presence of cocaine in the sample tested.
And what scheduled drug is cocaine?
Schedule 2.
And when it has, do you have any measurement uncertainty percentages on your reports?
Yes, for the weights.
What does that mean?
That essentially gives a range.
She seems competent. And it's standard GBI testimony. They tested a lot of drugs, and it was, to nobody's surprise, it was drugs. Here's the thing. Mr. Williams has already pled guilty to the possession of those drugs. So why is it in this trial after he left? Well, it's a RICO trial. In furtherance of a conspiracy, what other people do, all of them are guilty for, if found guilty. Now, the jury doesn't know about the guilty pleas, so they only know that 4 out of 6 defendants in this trial are suddenly gone. And they got the jury instruction that you are to not make no reference. It's more or less, it's none of your business kind of jury instruction. How do you forget about 4 defendants being, and
Just
all of a
mysteriously
sudden they're gone?
Yeah.
Just as when Judge Glanville was yeeted, the instruction was, well, Mr. Glanville is no longer the judge, I am.
Yeah, just ignore it.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
assuming that this has survived the multiple attempts for a mistrial.
50.
Okay, 50 attempts at a mistrial.
Yeah.
And it's purely because it's already been going for what, half a year at this point? What are we, day 155?
No, we are. They had opening statements on November 28th last year, so it's almost a year, and this is day 155. They
Damn, I
have,
really feel sorry for those jurors.
yeah, but they, on occasions when something really egregious happens, they are asked, "Can you ignore this?" And yeah, still, we have a jury. Only let's see, 12 plus 4, I believe. So they're still having 4 alternates as well. So nobody took the chance of, yeah, I'm out of here.
That would be the point where you raise a hand and go, yeah, no, I'm not a moron. I cannot just ignore everything that I've seen and heard. Bye.
Yeah, and I've counted to 36 jury instructions so far in this trial. I mean,
What are at this point, it would be cleaner for the court to just be the ones to say, you know what, no, we have to start as afresh.
yeah, but the defense is adamant in, we do not ask for a mistrial without prejudice. They are only asking for mistrials with prejudice.
Okay.
They don't want the
I mean,
state
look,
to...
you can understand why, because clearly they're hoping for something to push the boundaries. And yeah, okay.
Yeah, but there are so much outrageous things, Brady violations and witnesses. I mean, so much misconduct from the state that if it's not, it won't be a mistrial with prejudice in this trial.
No way in hell. This is just a cluster.
Yeah, but I mean, the amount of, if they were convicted, the amount of appellate issues is staggering. Absolutely staggering. So I'm going to skip forward to cross-examination on this chick, if there is one. There wasn't one. Huh. They had no interest.
And promethazine.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Your Honor, the state doesn't have any more questions for this witness at this time.
All right, are there defense questions for this witness? All right, thank you for your time, and you are excused, and I think that'll probably bring us to the end of today.
And I believe now, if I don't remember when it happened, because earlier that day, they were having a discussion because a witness, Detective Dennis, was yeeted from this trial because he referenced to one of the defendants as in and out of jail. Yeah. So, and they were sanctioned with, he's yeeted. The jury is to ignore all of his testimony. That was the 3rd time he was testifying in this trial, as both a fact witness and an expert witness on gangs. But only the 3rd time he attended, that was the one where ignore this day's testimony and sanctioned with, well, if you have a witness already in the witness list that is supposed to testify about this, yes, then you can then you can bring that one forward. And they tried to bring in a new witness to testify about things, because they are doing this in chronological order from 2013 up until recent alleged gang crimes.
Yep.
And they want a person to testify about the Donovan Thomas murder, but that was 3 months ago. They talked about that. And the state says, well, he was on the witness list. Yeah, the original one with over 700 on them. that doesn't mean he was actually a testifying witness about that specific issue. So they're going back to check the transcript about the actual wordings of the judge, and I do believe they are going to talk about that after the jury leaves.
We mentioned off the record, Ms. Taylor, who's our court reporter for today, was also our court reporter the day after Detective Dennis's testimony, and it may be that the bench conference that we are all remembering was that morning. So Ms. Taylor's going to search and come up with a rough of that bench conference and provide it to us in the morning. And we're going to look in more detail on Friday during our non-jury day at exactly what we have left in terms of witnesses and evidence. But it is anticipated that we might need proposed jury instructions well before we had, or I had originally asked for y'all to provide those. So be thinking about that. What else?
More jury instructions.
So my understanding is that the state is just going to continue to go down the list provided. Is that accurate?
No, it's, Your Honor, it appears we've been trying to confirm our witnesses for tomorrow.
Okay.
There's a lot of scheduling conflicts, so we need to regroup as a team to figure out everyone's coming tomorrow. We'll do that as soon as we leave here, as soon as that is.
Is it going to be, is whomever's going to be testifying tomorrow, at least somewhere on this week's witness list? Okay, that should be fine.
And so my understanding, I'm reading, I guess how I want to read the court's comments. My understanding is we are looking for instructions on what was stated regarding the Detective Dennis and Detective Thorpe possibly coming in as it relates to Mr. Kendrick's statement. But when we're looking for those, that bench conference,
Yeah.
that I'm
So my recollection is, as I mentioned this morning, is that when Dennis's testimony was excluded as a sanction,
Ooh, a little bit of venom there.
somebody from the state asked, well, if somebody else could cover the same testimony, are we totally excluded from even, touching on the topics, or is it just Dennis who's excluded? And my ruling was, no, if you already have somebody on the witness list and they can cover the same topic, then fine, you can ask through them.
Right. And my understanding is that would apply to Mr. Kendrick's statement, who they were originally potentially seeking Investigator Dennis to testify about. That does not apply to Mr. Stillwell's statement, which I objected to this morning, that they chose not to ask.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything in their order of proof and exhibits witness list that suggests that they were going to ask Detective Dennis anything about Mr. Stillwell's statement. And they had already covered, it seemed, everything that they were going to get into about when Mr. Stillwell was the intended victim and Ms. Jones was killed, without any indication that that was anything. I mean, that would have been the time to get into that. And there weren't other witnesses listed that they haven't already gotten to yet. So my ruling on that is they don't get
Okay, I just want to make
circle back, just because it may be now that Detective Thorpe is coming in because the state figured out it was him and not some other witness who needs to testify to.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I think you're thinking of Detective Griffin. Detective Griffin is the person who he was present for when Mr. Jackson was.
Right, right. And Detective Thorpe wasn't listed as somebody who was going to testify then.
We hadn't gotten, in the sequence of events, we hadn't gotten to it. His interview was months.
You hadn't gotten to the Jones killing? Okay.
We got to the Jones killing. It's not related to the Jones killing.
I know.
Well, Detective
Well,
Thorpe also.
it was an interview that was taken of Mr. Stillwell at the time he was talking to them about having been a witness/victim of that killing, right?
Right, and I'm bearing the lead, I think, a little bit. Detective Thorpe also testified as the lead investigator for the Donovan Thomas case.
Right, and he
So-
already testified.
Right,
about it.
he already testified, they never asked about it,
Right.
and that's kind of my stance.
Mhm.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, anything else? Anything else for this? All right, I think we'll see each other at 8:45 in the morning soon. Okay, I was going to say sound good, but y'all would just say, no, that doesn't sound good. So not going to ask that. All right, see y'all in the morning.
She's realistic.
Yeah, I mean, it's a completely new trial after she took over from Judge Glanville back in July. But after the plea deals, because Mr. Williams' plea negotiations, they broke down. So he did a no contest plea to the judge,
Right.
non-negotiated plea of guilt, and he threw himself at the judge's mercy. Now, the last offer from the prosecution was parole, but with a list of conditions that was a mile long, as in admitting that his lyrics were promoting gang violence. I mean, there was so many stupid things, but they were actually prepared to let it go on probation. But since it broke down and he threw himself to the mercy of the court, they asked the judge for 45 years, 25 years in prison.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah. And she commented on that it seems almost notorious that
Vindictive,
you were prepared to let this man walk on probation, and now you're asking me for 25 years in prison, followed by 20 years probation. And then she sentenced him to the 5 years in prison, but commenced as time served, 15 years probation, 7.5 with reporting in and the rest not reporting in. And if he concludes 15 years but without getting into trouble, the last 10 years of prison is just gone. That was her ruling. So she became really, she really showed mercy on him. And she has made a few comments about the prosecution, because in a motions hearing this morning, the defense went in and said, we believe that this is prosecution's tactics. And she says, I think you're giving too much credit to the prosecution. She said that in open court.
Ooh. Okay, so she really doesn't think much of them at this point then. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this trial has been a roller coaster of fusterclucks. And yeah, she's not happy with the prosecution. Not at all, because the three others in their plea deals, the prosecution dropped the murder charges and took in for others. So they got quite lenient plea deals as well. So I think she took notice of that. Wait a minute. These are a group of people that are in on no bond because they are too dangerous to the society. And here you are giving them probations in plea deals.
Yeah.
Things does not compute. And I think and since then she has been she is now sustaining defense objections that she, prior to this plea deal week, she overruled. So there's a clear switch before and after the plea deals in how she acts in court. She is not happy with the prosecution.
Okay.
Yeah, as Andrea says, they have 6 denied bond hearings because the prosecution claims they are too dangerous to society. One guy was convicted in 2016, served his time, out on probation, did his probation, and now, since those crimes back then is now overt acts in this RICO. So they put him in jail for crimes he already served time for without bond. That's the Georgia RICO. Yeah. They present that as overt acts, and then they can recharge for crimes these guys have already served time for. They have overt acts about things that themselves 10 years ago dropped the charges for, but as overt acts.
Sorry, my brain's going to take a couple of seconds to just release some smoke and fuse on that one.
Yeah.
This is almost as bad as the guy that was put on remand for 2 weeks without charge. Like,
Yeah, but these guys have been in jail for 2.5 years since
Okay, fair
May
enough.
of
Significantly worse.
2022,
Yeah.
and there are still 12 people awaiting RICO trial who are waiting for their trials to start. That was severed from this trial. 2.5 years in jail without bond, and they are waiting for this trial to end so their trials can start.
That's insanity.
Yeah, complete insanity. Imagine the lawsuits if they are all acquitted. I mean, there has to be lawsuits.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And my dream of this trial is that the jury takes enough time to sign the jury papers. Yeah, not guilty. We're out of here. Screw you, prosecution. That's my hope for this trial. That is why they are all staying, because, oh, we want to give a big F you. But then again, they are being paid $25 a day as jurors. Yeah.
Wait, $25 a day. Sorry, I'm going to do the math on that because now
And they are being paid every
Just
2 weeks, I believe.
just shy of $3,900 for the last. Wow.
And they're not getting paid for non-jury days.
Oh, yeah, fair call. So it's even less than that. That's
They are being paid. After a few months, they were starting to get paid if there were motion hearings days, but not if it's actual non-jury days. As Thursday, the court is out. There's no trial. So, but then again, I believe the explanation is, well, you can work that day. Yeah. Yeah. It is really that stupid. It is really, really that stupid.
And you've
I've
sat through all of it.
And yeah, all of it. From I made a promise last year, gavel to gavel, and I'm keeping that promise. Almost every day I sat through this. Now, I've been going from doing everything live to the recap format, because doing doing work daytime and then 8-9 hours of stream, no, it took too much of a toll on me. So I'm moving into this recap thing.
No,
and so 3 hours today for this afternoon recap, and in about half an hour my morning alarm bell goes off because I overslept for the recap. I slept an extra 2 hours, so it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day. Yeah, okay. Now, Ozzy, what have you been doing today? I heard something about a charity event.
Yeah, so I just finished up a 4.5-hour charity stream, daddy-daughter stream with my little girl. We were raising money for some new playground equipment for her school. So we were quite proud of that. We managed to single-handedly raise 10% of what the school needs to buy the new stuff. So it went really well. We were really happy with that. So
yeah, if you have the link, post it in the
oh yeah, sure,
the private chat, so I can post it in the actual chat.
What I'll do is I'll give you the link to the stream just because whoever the smart guy was that set up the donation page for the school didn't realize that some people may not want their kids' schools being advertised. So it's got all of her personal details plastered across the donation page. So what I was doing is so what I did was during the stream, I took in the super chats. I've forwarded them and already paid them directly. I won't see any of that money through till December, less whatever YouTube takes out. I'm eating the difference on that, as well as the transaction fees. So if anyone wants to make any donations at any point, we've still got 3 days. So if it's either through PayPal, Stripe, because we don't have Venmo or Cash App here, or if you just want to leave a super thanks on the video, that's entirely up to you. But you know, I'll post the live stream link and I'll give you that in the hang on, why has that done that? But yeah, I'm hoping that if they do anything like that in the future, they'll just be smart enough not to include, you know, I don't necessarily need her school details posted everywhere as to what class she's in, what they've been learning, all that sort of stuff. I'm happy to share all that information without certain identifying features. So, but no, besides that, it was what have we been doing? I mean, last night was so every Monday we do body cam day. So it's a mixture of cop cam, Karen videos, and SovSit videos. And then we did. I've been doing a retro rewatch of the Jessica Chambers trial, which is horrific on its own. That was the poor girl that was burnt to death. Well, I mean, she was burnt. She didn't die until after the police arrived, and she walked up the street. 98% of her body had third-degree burns. It was basically the soles of her feet that weren't. And yeah, so we've been watching that one. And then, you know, just doing my usual dumpster fire roundup of a Friday afternoon, working out exactly what the stupidest news stories of the week have been and what's interesting. So, yeah.
So everybody go over to Aussies for entertainment.
Pretty much is what I try to bring to the table. So, but dude, thank you so much for flicking me the link. I know I've been meaning to come across. I've had to take a couple of rain checks on various things, so I'm glad I was able to. The stars aligned.
Yeah, sometimes the stars aligns. Yeah, and my Friday panel show. Now, of course, it's mostly about the YSL-Trial, but if you have the chance on Friday. Oh God, time difference. Let's see. I usually start at 6 p.m. Eastern time and go on for about 3 hours. So that would be Saturday morning for you.
Yes, that's what 10 a.m. on a Saturday. Ordinarily, we have that set aside for family time, but I can definitely talk with the missus and see whether or not I can drop by at least one of these days. Because yeah, I really do want to stop by and be on one of those panels with you.
Last Friday, I had the two lawyers you saw, Doug and Max. They were on my show Friday.
No shit.
Yeah, and I hope they will be back this Friday to give their input as much as they can about how they feel this week went. And I really want to ask them about the missing jewelry stuff. How much it actually
I would have
is.
questions.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm heading to get myself some breakfast, and then I'm, well, almost off to work. Okay, everybody. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for allowing me to do this. It's thanks to you, the viewers, that makes this possible. And and remember, hug your family. Unless your family is crap, then screw them and give your love to the people who deserve it. All right. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
In the courthouse where time stood still, generations pass on the hill. Prosecutors come and go, defense attorneys putting on a show. Old district attorney thought she was tight, came in to visit her at night. They said justice was blinded by her sins. As the trial spun, no one wins. Endless trial like a river flows. Truth and lies, nobody knows. Corruption, strict tight as a vice. In this endless trial, we pay the price.